Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, sorry about the auto mod. I do keep it on, just not terribly strictly. I figure that it's the kind of thing where it helps if I wind up with an influx of folks that are being particularly rude. Oh, there we go. Catch up. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Excuse me. So, we have some stuff to do today. Also, to follow up on some of the stuff. So, a bunch of us have been playing Hollow Knight, right? MQ was streaming it. Kellerman picked it up on Switch. Stage and I picked it up on Switch. I have it on PC as well, but honestly, it works a lot better for me on the Switch. Hey, welcome on in. So, the dumbest freaking strat in existence. So, after a while, I started playing around with charm synergies, particularly after I ran into problems with the Traitor Lord. This is all well and good. There's a complete cheese strat for him, which is not unrelated to what I did for the failed champion. It really does, Kelvin. So for failed champion, my loadout, effectively, glowing womb, hive blood, quick focus, and king soul. If you want to see it done properly, NQ did it properly. A little overkill properly, but properly. I cheesed the crap out of it. Yeah. Long story short is I camped up on a wall and let the little... So, I was generating soul for free, basically. Yeah, just over time. Producing little dudes who dive bomb and deal damage. And healing when I got the chance. Except for the fact that I had a charm on that passively healed one of the last bit of damage that I took. I'm not proud of what I did. In any case... So, I will say, playing Hollow Knight and, like, really going through it, and not just, like, limping my way through it, but actually beating my head against it such that I learned the tech. You know, get the movement tech going, start seeing some of the patterns and stuff of the bosses. There's one boss that there's a couple bosses that you fight two different versions of optionally. On one of them, the phase 1 is basically a pure pattern boss. And in the revisit, I second tried that boss, which was kind of nuts. I was learning and adapting a lot, but in any case. So, fun stuff there. Now, there's good news and bad news about it. Good news, it's actually helping translate some into some of the la-mulana stuff. Bad news is it's also hurting some of it. We also have some other stories and stuff today, because, it's been too damn long. I've been out of town. We got some silly stuff, including what happens when you dump two mathematicians in the middle of Philly. Just silly stuff like that. But yeah, so, now, I wanted to start at half past. The problem that I ran into is that so the room that I was stuck on before that I figured out, you know, the whole Pink Floyd trick, yeah, to remember it, I'm having difficulty trying to get through that room again. On the other hand, the stuff that comes after it should be a lot smoother. So that's also why I was gonna try and at least, set up the geometry for the next few rooms, but, excuse me, the game said no. And yeah, the broken vessel hurts. In any case, make sure that I have the correct active window. So we're trying to get to the point where I can start mapping. Which is auspicious, I know. I've gotten more cavalier about taking damage than I should be. Which is not good in Hell Temple. But no, this is with about... call it 15 minutes warm-up? But yeah. I also started playing around some with some of the wall jump stuff. And in particular, the different sorts of movement that I can do off of it. Which is going to be relevant in one room. So doing the non-kicked wall jump, where we have no, or we have limited horizontal velocity initially. And then we have kicked, which sends us a lot further. Something tells me that being able to figure out my arcs is going to be a huge boon. Oh. That was just me being slow. This is gonna go great. Also, Stage will be back in a little bit. He had to hit the store. Although, he may not be on stream too much today. Because he has a bit of a sore throat. So, basically what I told him is that if we get to any sort of exploration-oriented stuff, then we'll want him. But until then, he can do what he needs to. Here we go. I keep getting caught by that punch. Ooh. I keep doing the double jump to basically guarantee it. Oh, no, the other thing... Well, that hasn't happened in ages. The other thing to note is that there's a lot of stuff where... Hold up. Oh no. That was use of the wall kick stuff. Nope. I tried to dodge the bird, which meant that I landed... I'm just trying to get through this damn room. Once we get through this damn room, we can chill, we can have story time. Anywho. Let's see. We've got Kelman, who's working away at Hollow Knight. I think I saw that MQ was doing double speed Celeste. What else is, what is everyone doing? What has everyone been up to? Been like a week and a half? I imagine that that's a silly thing, MQ. I did not get to check stuff out earlier. Oop, that was brilliant. Okay. This is just gonna be one of those days. I don't even know where to start on the mess that's on the bottom of the screen. Oh, thank you. Thank you, kind wizard. Come on. There we go. Ah, Kelman's going through Darkest Dungeon and still Assassin's Creed Origins. Ooh. Megas turned up a Ruth Goldberg game. Haven't found one of those in many years. But no, that's freaking awesome, MQ. Oop. Yes, the left trigger movement ability in Hollow Knight is part of why I guarantee you that I'm gonna have some control mapping problems at some point. Also, fun fact, in response to having done so much Hollow Knight, I changed my mapping for la-mulana. So, I'm on, Xbox 360 controller. Previously, I had B as my main weapon, and X is my, secondary. Which is so much less friendly for basically just moving smoothly and effectively for me. So, X is now my main weapon, and suddenly things are smoother. I feel when it turns out that part of the troubles that you were having in la-mulana may have come down to control scheme problems.
I'm trying to remember if that's even default, because I've been playing the way that you have it set right now for ages.
No, I changed defaults at some point. I think for this, or it might have been for. I forget whether I changed Hollow Knight PCs or la-mulana's. There's an ant on my wall.
No, that's just me.
No, there's an ant on my wall.
Oh, yes, there is an ant on your wall.
There's an ant on my wall. He says hello to the stream.
So, right as I get out of my car, it starts opening up rain.
Yep, we have it staged. Is your throat feeling better?
A little bit. It's kind of off and on.
Might be worth... Oh my... I'm getting so sick of this hell. And it might be about to get sick of me.
What's it gonna take to get out of this hell?
Possibly dying. Which is a problem. But yeah, no, we have a stage in the background. He's supposed to be, resting his throat and stuff. But here he is booming from across the room.
It's just casual.
I know. Hey, welcome on in. Is there no hope in this hell? With my platforming skills, I don't think you realize, once we get to one particular room today, I'm gonna map it, and then we're gonna learn just exactly how every facet of wall kicks work in this game.
Just exactly how high a capacity for rage Kitty has.
I mean, we know that my salt tolerance levels are good on some fronts. The bird cycle. Oh god. Clutch heal. We got the heal, folks. We got the heal. Barely. We got it. Kelman noting that it's hard to use his ventriloquist powers to get me to do a Wayne June voice. Flail for eternity, yep. Oh, no. I jumped too early. Yeah. See, this is the part where playing Hollow Knight so much has hurt my platforming. It actually should be a lot better with respect to things like wall kicks. But no, flail for eternity. I might need to switch to a faster weapon. Too damn much, dear. Too damn much. Too damn much. Gotten 2 endings, though. I'm waiting to do the last one. This is not a good cycle. Oh. Hitboxes are weird. There's a trick to dealing with that ninja. I just need to remember. Yeah. Stage noting that talking in chat is how he saves his voice. He can be loud here without being loud. It's also how he saves my ears. See, Stage has the whole, like, shoutcastery boom that he can do. I needed to stay flipped so the hitbox would work out in my favor. Hey! Strategic use of wall kicks. Okay. Rest in eardrums. Okay. See, I'm all set for a mapping stream today. You know what we're gonna do? Just so that I don't curse myself, we're gonna do this. We are trying to get to mapping. And here I thought that I was basically done trying to get through this bit. It's... yeah. I don't know why I keep killing that guy. Okay, come on. Crap. Yeah. There wasn't much that I could do there. Just everything about that was bad. Okay. If I can just get... we might need a story break before we even get to the stuff proper. Well, no, okay. That was a Hollow Knight problem. There's certain pivots that I do when I think that I've, overshot. And that was just one of them trying to happen. The trick... so one of the big things about Hollow Knight is, you have a lot more responsive aerial maneuverability. During warm-up, I was joking with Staged about how la-mulana makes you commit to your actions more than the... makes you commit to things more than the average marriage. No, it, I I think I was talking about it with respect to being more decisive on the planning side. Yeah. So, Stage and I are working on getting a house. That was this... Yes! Hey, guess what, guys? I got through! And this is where we get to stuff where apparently watching MQ play fan games was really helpful. So let me switch this over. Map. Whee! Oops, phone in frame. But yeah, so, you know, yeah, Stage and I have been working on seeing about getting a house. We're planning... What was it? We were planning on putting in an offer start of next week?
Just texted.
Ah. So, actually looking more like end of this week. So, we're working on putting in the offer and seeing what we can make work. So, it's entirely possible that we'll be homeowners soon, which is a really weird thought. It's a perfect time to raise some kids. Dear God. So, I know most of you have heard of it at this point, but the first time we checked this place out, right? You know, someone sitting there looking at a couple, taking a look at the place. You're like, oh, you know, do you have kids? Are you expecting kids? It's like, oh, no. But, yeah, we see a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house and go, hey, don't have to wait for the bathroom, like, ever. And basically a bedroom, a guest room, a home studio, and a home office. That's what we see. This guy goes on, doesn't shut up about it. Great place to raise kids. Great house to raise kids in. Plenty of space. Dude.
I ended up just running into them outside, too.
Did you?
Yeah. They didn't recognize me at first.
Mm-hmm. Not in the slightest.
Don't know why I'm the same guy I used to be. I haven't changed.
Mm-hmm.
Must be because no mustache.
Shaved games?
Shaved games, indeed. That's the trick of it. Trying to sweat out whatever bug this is.
It's also a shame because I'm doing a mapping stream, right? And part of the lighting setup here actually has like 2 little lights that are used off to my left to fill things in some, which is why you're getting shadows here and why he looks like a big dark blob.
And why I just killed an ant.
What? Ants. Just ants. Like, I know they're excited about the upcoming release of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I'd really rather not be dealing with them.
Kitty. Seriously, Kitty?
Yeah? What's your point? What's your point?
Doing this as hard as I can.
At least I'm not making jokes about it being quality content.
Quality? Is that like Australian Japanese cuisine?
Features eucalyptus.
The question is, like, what would you... crossover cuisine. You got the obvious, like, Tex-Mex. But, like, what other things can you do with it? Have good portmanteaus.
Good portmanteaus for cuisine
Crossovers.
That sounds like one hell of a Jeopardy category.
I'm trying to think about it too and everything, because, like, okay, what other crossovers really are there?
Well, the problem is whether those crossovers are, like, ones that use English, or whether, like, there are some puns that transcend language. For example, where does a cat go when it dies?
Not this one. No.
Purgatory.
No.
But it's funny because if you actually start translating it, in some languages you get things like the word for cat being gato. So, purgatoire, or that's not how you say it in that particular language, but it's
Purgatorio.
Purgatorio. Yep. But you get the well, I was thinking of the French. Purgatoire.
Right.
No, it turns out that basically if you're talking about most Romance languages, and even, I think, Germanic, the pun works. I'm hearing thunder. Let's hope... The thunder rolls, but I hope the lightning doesn't strike.
The lightning crashes, a young girl cries.
Did I just make a song reference you didn't get?
Possibly, but I went with live instead.
Okay. I was making Garth Brooks reference.
Oh, yeah, I don't know anything about Garth Brooks. What do you think I am, a hippie?
I know, like, 2 or 3 songs.
Well, what do you think I am? Some kind of,
The
like,
thunder
country
rolls.
hippie?
The thunder rolls.
Also, I really like the way that this hoodie is, like, giving me kind of a shitty fake hat or do-rag on the camera.
Oh, hey. No, Kelman, the mobile Twitch app has been giving me all sorts of crap. I don't know if you're using the desktop one, but... And then, draw. Staged, also known as the Big Dark Blob. He's going to appear on the map first as one, minor province, and then we'll blob all over the US, Canada, Mexico, and simultaneously push into Europe and South America with armies and navies with a massive morale boost and incredible production ability.
What I'm really hearing is, as you started talking about, is Stage presents.
Then he will push into Africa and Asia, overcoming Russia and China and swallowing up the entire world in the Dark Blob.
What I'm seeing is Stage presents the nations of the world. Well, there's Canada, Mexico, Saudi Arabia.
God. That was a fun one. Thank you for typing that up, Draw.
Alright, MQ, you photoshopped Garth Brooks' face onto Gary Oak's body.
Why?
Why not Keanu Reeves?
Hold on, why? Like, clearly for the memes, but like...
Because he's Gary Oak, bitch.
Welcome on in, Dinsdale. Oh, so as we move into mapping and stuff, I gotta tell, it's the sort of thing that was absolutely fantastic. So while I was out of town, I met up with Dinsdale, right? And you end up with the adventures of 2 mathematicians in Philly.
And the best thing about Dinsdale is if you turn his head upside down, but put his eyes in the right place and his mouth in the right place, just his beard could be his hair and his hair could be his beard. It's perfect.
Well, let's see. We started off with the plans being getting Philly cheesesteaks, and then heading the Franklin Institute, because they have a games exhibition. It's Gary on to and so we start off at the cheesesteak place, and I swear, in the middle of a lunch rush, part of the problem with mathematicians, right? Too much optimization. And sometimes you optimize so much that you confuse the poor woman behind the counter. Puts mine on a tray, and it's like, asking how many sandwiches, and it's like, 1. And then you get Dinsdale going, you would ask the same thing. 1, but you can put it on the same tray. Because, we were planning on eating there together. This should not have been this much of a problem. This was one of those collective, just everyone... No, Dinsdale, you tried so hard to be friendly and helpful, and just...
It wasn't happening.
Basically what ended up happening is I'm like, Just 2. Don't worry about him. And I paid at the register and we settled later. Just... It was one of those moments of just... When you try too hard to be friendly and optimize, and the rest of the world just isn't prepared for it.
No, it just doesn't work. Part of that is the optimization revolves around communication.
Yes, which is where having 2 mathematicians involved, leads you astray.
Did you try establishing axioms first?
Water is wet. Lava is hot. Can I start off with those axioms? I think that's a pretty good set of axioms. Oh my god, do we need to start the axioms of kittybard streams?
That actually sounds incredible.
I have to write this down now. Oh my...
What?
I was talking with you earlier about some emote concepts. What if we had this... It wouldn't necessarily be like a Twitch full set, but something like on Discord.
Yeah, have just the full axioms of the kittybard.
And have that be, like, part of an emote set.
The question is, how do you actually manage to pull that off? One broken vessel.
Hey! Congrats, Kelvin.
What's he playing?
Did still watch out for whatever ends up being your parallel postulate analog.
Oh, right, he's playing Marcus Dungeon. It's kind of like Darkest Dungeon, except it has all of the skins are replaced with Markiplier. What?
But no, so...
And every time you get hit, it just goes, hey everyone, it's Markiplier!
So we have frickin'... So we get cheesesteaks and stuff. Have a great time hanging out. By the way, it's really convenient that we got the new dryer, because all my laundry quarters, I basically raided the stash of laundry quarters before I left, because I know that, you know, parking in the city is always going to be a pain in the butt if you're doing metered parking. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I have stuff on hand. I had like $5 in quarters with me. 1 quarter, 6 minutes on the meter.
You know how many games of foos that is?
There's a more important question.
What?
How much do I care?
Foos is life!
Now.
See, that's why I don't live in the city. Don't even have summer in the city. In the summer, in the city.
Nope.
Proud of you.
Too early.
Dinsdale wants to know where my hair is.
Sitting in a Ziploc bag.
Which I still need to arrange.
Shield is best sub-weapon.
This is where my hair is. Just imagine on the back of my head.
This is nerve-wracking, trying to get through here so that I...
See? It's like you never even missed me.
We are at least at New Hells now.
News hells?
Oh my god. Trying to pivot did not go my way.
Are you gonna go my way?
The ninjas.
Do they rap?
I really hope that this doesn't...
Can we get chat to give us some...
Right, chakrams. No, wrong thing.
Can we get chat to give us some Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go? Because if we got ninjas, we gotta do the ninja rap.
Okay, so, I have a problem right now.
Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go?
I need... Oh, just intentionally cycling.
So you can get some money? Yeah, you do need some money.
needed
If only
to
that
heal.
was money.
If I had $1 million.
If I had $1 million, I'd buy you a green dress.
But not a real green dress, that's cruel. No, see, if you had $1 million, we'd buy a house. Oh, wait.
Blue Twitch.
Blue Twitch. The suggestion of the stream thus far. Carry the hair around to home showings, produce it and talk to it as a child when perfect for children is suggested. I mean, he sheds worse than the average dog.
Yeah.
He sheds worse than a long-haired cat.
So, before I grew my hair out, my hairline was not this receded.
Yep, that was stupid.
I'm definitely going bald. If any of you out there are fans of Rush, just think of it as, I think I'm going bald.
It can't be helped. I'm sorry. Stupid damage. Everywhere. Just, right, chakra. There's a reason why
you have it on the sub-weapon. I'd be rich. You know, we don't have to walk to the store. We should take a limousine because it costs more.
Oh my god.
Oh, I wish that there were monkeys in this game. I mean, the Kiwis kinda count.
The Kiwis can GTFO.
But haven't you always wanted a monkey?
Right. The asshole frickin'... Get out of here.
Have you mapped?
Right, I don't have the... Oh my god, I'm stupid.
You haven't been mapping.
I'm...
Pro at this.
Guys, I got so focused on progress.
You've been this far before.
Yes, but see, I got stuck.
I don't think you're backtracking anytime soon.
I don't know how to feel about this.
Try climbing up so you stop shooting.
Yeah, thank you. I failed to spot your remark, Draw. I am an idiot. I wish I had been paying attention.
I wish I had $1 million.
I mean, Chakram.
I think it just bounces off the shield. I could be wrong.
We're just doing this.
But not a real room of hell, that's cruel.
Okay. Timings.
I got a serpent's tail sail of
Oh, hey.
I'm sorry, everyone. I just spat on your mic.
Oh, God. I think that's worse than me accidentally punching it. Just saying, dear.
There's all kinds of vegetable matter all over the microphone now.
And of course, my microphone.
That accent is spat on. Hey,
Oh my
Kitty.
god.
Kitty.
Yeah.
You still
Oh my god. Guys. I have to actually go up higher than this.
Yep. Kitty? Can you take me higher?
Hey guys. Hey guys.
It's time for paper 2.
Brain?
To a place where blind men see. Kitty?
Yeah.
You can't put the room there.
No, there's one above it.
And it's not the room that's right there.
Okay. I'm leaving one as a placeholder. I'm mapping what I'm in. I'm mapping the room that I'm in now. This is room 16, room 17's below it, and then room 18.
Is it a square around like that, or are they both vertical? I thought there was like another horizontal. I don't remember.
This is a drop down.
Okay, I thought it was
into
a
Tiamat's room, which then exits about here.
Okay.
Which puts it at the top of room 18.
Okay, I just have everything all backwards.
We're being efficient!
You act like I remember anything. Oh, right. I know why. That does work out. You're right.
Aw, that not enough geofeel is...
You have not enough geo-rolls.
So, what I did for geo stuff is because I never wanted to have to worry about it. Constantly gathering swarm, and once I was able to get it, fragile greed. And just try not to die very often. Because so long as you make, what is it, 150 to fix the charm? So long as you make at least that much in bonus drops. Mm-hmm.
If I had a
Trick is to only have it when you're going through, like, long-form exploration that's low risk.
Why did you lose 5K?
You lost 5K?
You should have done that. Oh, nice, Drow. You got yourself into a Dind group. Pretty awesome shiz.
I'm so sorry, Kellerman. I have one question for you.
How do you feel about
Have
elephants?
you opened the shop on the far right of Dirtmouth? The far right.
You know, you can save yourself from losing a lot of geo if you just used the bank. What? You can take all that geo and deposit it straight in the bank.
But no, that's why I'm asking, have you opened the shop at the far right of Dirtmouth? And by that I mean, like, past the entrance to the crossroads.
Past the well.
There's a reason that I'm asking.
Because it's very wellicious. Hey-oh!
No, I understand, Kelvin. It's basically my rule of thumb is playing safe on it. I would much rather do the thing that makes it easier.
You have a Fear-Fi.
Oh, hey, welcome on in.
Fear-Fi.
Seer Sky.
No,
Oh.
Fear-Fi. Like Fear Factor, except for it's Fear-Fi.
We're just gonna ignore the fact that I skipped a room for the moment.
You can ignore it. I'm going to continue to lampshade it.
Oh, I know you will.
Because I don't remember there being a purely white room.
I'm sorry.
With black curtains?
It's like the 13th floor of a building. Room 17 just doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's the one, Kelly.
Yeah. When in doubt, there's been... Shit. There were a couple times where it would have taken just so long to hike back to where I was that if I'm not going to immediately retry the thing, I'll just...
The trick is just being good enough that you don't die. You can't lose Geo that way.
Says the guy who apparently raced through the game and missed like 2/3 of the shit, didn't it?
And that's how you play a Metroidvania. Unless you're doing a 100% run, they use 86 everything.
I understand, Kelman.
Like, the best runs of Super Metroid are the 13% runs.
The most that I lost on the run that I've been working on thus far is I lost about 600 at one point. Fairly early on. That was another one of those overestimating my ability things, but it was early enough. Honestly, the biggest hassle about it was having to go get Fragile Greed fixed. You can't find your double bird flipping emote for staged? Darn.
Although, I think the best low percent Metroidvania completion...
Sorry, circling back, draw noting that the D&D session, it's 2-hour long session per week. Haven't done much, but maybe someday we can get into a D&D section. Maybe Knacky. Need more players. Yeah. We'll have to see. I know that I started participating in a tabletop game for a system that's still under development recently. And that I've been really enjoying that. But I don't know if I have enough bandwidth personally to be able to, like, just brain-wise and everything, to maintain enough headspaces to play in more campaigns simultaneously.
I never stop working.
Yeah, Kingdom's Edge is pretty lucrative. I was telling Staged just how, so in Hollow Knight, the Kingdom's Edge area, yeah, true. Seraphin's been busy trying to, open a business, little things like that.
Serpent, come on, man. You know that you need to rest more. You shouldn't be working so hard.
I can hear the bitch slap. I can hear it now.
Oh, your jaw. Oh my.
Wait. When did we do jaw having to reattach? What surgery are you getting on your jaw?
You ever seen the album art cover to Pantera's Vulgar Display of Power? Draw was actually the guy getting punched for that. They had to do a bunch of different takes to get the shot right. So Draw had his jaw dislocated like a million times for this.
But no, like, that's... Dude, being rendered mute for a week, that's... I would actually lose my mind.
Oh, they're moving your jaw forward. Fixed up an overbite?
That reminds me of my brother, though. So my brother, when he got his wisdom teeth out, right?
Yeah.
He's the tech guy in the family.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm passable at certain chunks of tech. He's the tech guy.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he manages to both be a generalist and a specialist. So, when he had his wisdom teeth out, he could not deal with moving his jaw. Like, even as the painkillers were wearing off, it was still just too uncomfortable and stuff. So he starts using his phone and doing text to voice. Now, my mom was driving him at the time. The problem with this is my brother was being very bitingly sarcastic, but delivered in the text to voice. So my mom was trying not to laugh so hard, that she'd drive off the road or anything like that.
Is it Stephen Hawking's voice?
No, it was like the dispassionate, cool female voice.
Okay, yeah.
And just...
No, you see, the trick around it is the trigger like
Kelly, I see, how much would I pay for Stage to have that surgery? About 5 different answers sprang to mind, at least 2 of which are not stream appropriate.
I can tell you this much, there's very many people who would be very disappointed if I couldn't speak or open my mouth for a while.
Your co-workers.
Would be thankful. Well, it depends on which job you're talking about. Which job you're talking about.
Because, see, Staged comes back from work with all these stories and stuff about just the stuff that goes on, and just the crazy commentary. The best parts are when he's training someone. And just the commentary he's making causes, like, multiple people in the vicinity. He has AoE remarks. That's just what it comes down to. Between the face palms, the really, and the people laughing along.
Well, Draw, having a sense of smell is a pretty good thing, but it means you gotta start wearing deodorant. What?
But no, that's... I hear you on that, Draw. You've talked some about some stuff with that. So you know how some folks have, like, really sensitive hearing or sense of touch and stuff? Draw, sensitive sense of smell. Never live in a college dorm. That's basically the biggest thing that I can say on that one.
Or above a bar.
The trick is to live down the street from one, because then you don't get so much of the noise or smells. But all of the rodents and stuff in the area are attracted to that and not to where you live.
You know, maybe.
Well,
if you end up smelling
you're so
something good.
Fair enough, draw. I was conflating sense of taste and smell.
If you end up smelling something good, would that be a lucky smell? Would it be lucky smells? Or lucky some elves? Some lucky elves? What?
I don't know what the hell, like... Yeah. Well, I was basically making the assumption partly because sense of taste and smell are very closely linked, partly because of the... There's a whole bunch of reasons which have to deal with things like development of nerves and sensory receptors in those regions. The fact that there is connection between the sinuses and the mouth. Yeah, it's why you have an ear, nose, and throat specialist. So you get a bunch of the connectivity there, so sense of smell plays a significant part in sense of taste. So basically the conjecture that I was making is that sense of taste is also going to tend to imply, in many cases, sense of smell. How many times can I say the word sense or sensitive, or variations on the word sense in a particular sentence? Or even things that sound similar.
I'm gonna go check my voicemail. I got a call from a number I don't recognize.
Apparently I can just sit here and hiss my asses all damn day. It's almost as bad as buffaloes.
Buffalo.
But no, so... The adventures of two mathematicians in Philly, though. Oh, hold up. Dinsdale, noting, by the way, what you got for me? What you got? We're just gonna pretend that room 17 doesn't exist at the moment. I will tidy this map up in a bit. I am not particularly focused right now. What you got? What you got? What you got? There's room there. You're in chapter 37 of Origin of Species. I thought you'd like that one. So, Dinsdale and I got talking at one point about a couple fics that we're aware of, and some of the, basically, the problem is that some of the rationality fics can wind up in the overly pretentious realm, not, the overly pretentious realm, or just badly done. Like, turns out, it's kind of like it's hard for someone to play a charismatic character when they don't have, when they haven't developed their charisma as well. The same sort of thing. It's really hard to write smart characters. At least certain styles of smart character. Oh yeah, rationality stuff ends up being overly pretentious for the most part. One of the classic examples that people will cite, partly, you get Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality, which is pretty solid. I need to finish that one at some point. But Origin of Species is one for Pokemon. It actually works out being really good. And you can't take anything for granted. Like, the legendary Pokemon themselves are essentially a force of nature. So you actually have things like, basically party members who have lost parents and stuff to just a legendary bird happening to fly over a city. Imagine for a moment a giant firebird, basically, Moltres, flying over, let's say New York, and causing basically firestorms. This is some real heavy stuff. You get a whole bunch of issues with managing Pokemon migration and stuff. You also have, it's not taken for granted that a Pokemon's going to respond to you. You actually have, there's software and stuff that is incorporated in the Pokeballs that helps with some of the initial training and recognition so that they'll actually, respond to your voice. Yeah, or even just dripping magma. So, it's all sorts of things like that. And you have party Pokemon getting killed. Like, that's shit, I think there's one point where one party member loses 3 Pokemon in one, like, basically assisting with one disaster. And it also takes seriously some of the Pokemon descriptions. So, have you ever heard the lore behind Paris and Parasect? So Paris is basically a Pokemon, a bug that a mushroom has started colonizing. Parasect is a full-on zombie, where it has... Parasect is a full-on zombie. So, that... And they emit these spores and stuff. Searsky noted that some of the canon Pokedex descriptions are terrifying. This uses those. Yep. Parasect is a zombie. The mushroom grows to the point where basically its host exists for the sole purpose of propagating it and providing nutrition. That's it. But it gets into some really interesting territory. It also, you know, yeah, you get stuff going on with Pokemon evolution, but you have a progression towards it. You know, if you had a Bulbasaur kicking around, heading towards evolving into an Ivysaur, you might notice the bulb is growing over time. You know, the Bulbasaur is getting stronger, and you start seeing it try to open up partly. So so you see the precursor to it turning into an Ivysaur before it happens. It's really awesome now. Like, it's all sorts of cool stuff, but they have problems at one point with a Paris and Parasect wave that comes pouring out of a cave system. Like, there's all sorts of stuff. It's intense. Also, the Pokemon battling system. So they have, like, specific specifications regarding how much time you can have between sending a Pokemon out in combat, because it basically respects the idea that if you're not talking about being locked into a turn-based system like with the games, then you're going to be dealing with some very dynamic stuff. Every trainer is going to have their own way of communicating with their Pokemon. Some of them might use whistles, some of them might use code words, things like that, so that the opponent can't as readily tell what code they're using. You also get the Drifloon. Cute little balloon Pokemon. Kids like them, grab onto them, and sometimes you're never seen again. But no, so you get... But with the Pokemon stuff, if you think about it, it gets into the idea of battle tempo, and in particular the waves of, sending Pokemon out and bringing them back. There's, like, specifications for the maximum amount of time that you can have between having Pokemon on the field in competitive settings. And you get things like some of the... You get some of the stuff that's just chaining thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. And yeah, the morbidity associated with Cubone and the move Explosion and stuff is addressed. It's not strictly a rationality fic in terms of, let's take everything and apply logic to it. It's a rationality fic in terms of how they approach some of the problems. But at the end of the day, you still have a bunch of compelling characters that have their own arcs. You know, you've got one that winds up taking an interest in journalism and trying to start working their way towards that. You have one that's trying to become a researcher and dealing with things. Sure, it's at a different age, but this guy, he's basically trying to be a, Doogie Howser to some extent in terms of how early he's getting into trying to become a Pokemon professor. You have someone who's trying to be, an ace battler, but not just for the sake of, championship, but for the sake of the influence that you gain and the ability to affect positive, sustainable change. Basically, he wants to be the best, but he also doesn't want it simply for the sake of being the best. He wants it for the influence, and not to, become basically a piece of shit or anything about it. He wants to be able to influence things like policy making and responsiveness to things, issue calls to action and shit like that. It's awesome. No, like,
This is fake news.
You should read it at some point.
You should read it at some point.
But no, I'm glad that you're enjoying it, Dinsdale. It's I thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah, Seer Sky. Gardevoir can create a small black hole to protect their trainers. And you also have the empathic links. It talks about how there are some people who are naturally not receptive to psychic connectivity. Meanwhile, it deals with basically folks that are different levels of psychic. And one of the things that they note is for the purposes of things like doing competitive stuff, being a psychic is actually very valued because it means that you don't have to communicate out loud with your Pokemon. That said, and that's not even shying away from some of the ideas involving things like premonition and shit like that. But then you get folks who are also not very receptive to it. In fact, you cannot psychically interface with them. And stuff like that. And it explores that. Also, dear God, trauma. It addresses one of the... So, basically, of the three main characters, right? You get one who's got problems with... They're all trying to get out from under the shadow of their parents in different ways. You get one whose parents were lost when a legendary bird flew over a city. You got another whose dad was a Pokemon Ranger who died out on duty. Basically just trying to protect people. And you have the other character who has not exactly happy relations with their family. A lot of enforced expectation sorts of things and all sorts of stuff. It's well worth it, even if you're not a Pokemon fan.
I just miss the days when you can get away with having a character named Mario and no one blinked an eye.
But yeah. No, I'm seriously glad that you're enjoying it. So, circling back though, the adventures of two mathematicians in Philly. So we talked about, the little bit at lunch. So then we go, grab my car and head over to the Franklin Institute. Now here's the problem with the Franklin Institute. There's some construction stuff happening in the area, and it's also surrounded by, it's in the middle of the city. And surrounded by a lot of, one-way streets and stuff. And you basically got this bit back and forth at one point between Dinsdale and I where I'm like, I don't know where the parking garage is. It's like, you said you went with your family a bunch as a kid. Like, what? Yeah, I wasn't the one driving.
This is why the next time we go into the city, we're taking my helicopter.
But no, so we end up driving around and are kind of a mess, especially since we've got the, oh dear God, improv navigation in a city with lots of one-way streets. And by the way, I'm awful at my sense of direction in a city. It's such, I've gotten better at directions elsewhere, but in a city, it's so loud, just in terms of sensory inputs.
It's very difficult to get your bearings anywhere. Unless you have something global, like the sun being...
And I never remember the whole, coordinate system based off of streets. And even then, you're talking about Philadelphia, which has significant chunks of it that were basically built as meandering chunks as they were needed. You think neighborhoods getting absorbed into a growing city. And there's still streets that are technically wide enough for a car to pass through. Technically, as in, do you like the paint on the sides of your car?
I would say yes, except for the fact I don't think there's much paint left.
Just, everything is happening and nothing is okay. So, I was trying to figure out parking, which culminated in me having to do a UE to get into the ramp to park under Love Park. If it helps, I don't plan on driving in Beirut. No, it's part of the problem with old cities. New cities don't have this problem as much, but old cities, in particular ones where things, either the prevailing mode of transportation is not motorized vehicles, or especially the old ones where that wasn't a consideration. Shit, they didn't a lot of these places didn't even have a standardized, like, axle size for, like, one of the things that Rome did that was actually pretty genius, right? In terms of standardizing things. Standard axle widths, or axle lengths. By standardizing that for the most part, your roads suddenly work much more effectively for people. The rut, in particular with things like unpaved roads, you're gonna have the ruts in the right place, and you also have the fact that they were paving in different chunks. Like, it's nuts. But, at least I think it's Rome. I might be mixing up my ancient empires. But so, you get all this stuff going on, though, and just, if things spring up organically, you start thinking of it in terms of, there are some cities that are built on what used to be farmland, so you get the farm roads and stuff going between things, and they don't necessarily connect to the grid pattern, and yeah, I'm pretty certain it was Rome. The trick is that it's been like a decade since I've cited any facts on that. Draw noting, still remember the Gen 4 movies, Rise of Darkrai, Giratina and the Sky Warrior, Arceus and the Jewel of Life. Like, in Rise of Darkrai, Alamos Town and every person in Pokemon in it almost got wiped from existence in a place between dimensions while Dialga and Palkia were fighting. Imagine that level of destruction in a city. Say, New York is an example. You have about 8.538 million people get wiped from existence. Catastrophes where it's easier to talk about things in terms of scientific notation than it is to cite a number. Ugh. And Dinsdale noting that, yeah, Rome did the whole aqueduct thing as well as building on the shoulders of the Greeks while claiming it as their own. I mean, when you take over as being, dominant regional culture like that, I didn't see the first Pokemon movie in theaters. Or no, I did, but... No, I didn't. And I was salty because I didn't get the Ancient Mew card because of it. But I did see the second one. Pokemon the Movie 2000.
I saw the original. It wasn't bad.
But no. So, all sorts of fun stuff, though. We're just all over the place talking today. Okay, so Dinsdale and I finally figure out parking, right? I'm trying to remember. It was bad. What was it, like $28 for parking or some shit? For a few hours? Because it was the afternoon, we were heading over to the Franklin Institute.
That's when you just claim your car was stolen. Can't, charge you for parking when it wasn't you who parked there.
You'd think that? It's Philly, dear.
Oh yeah, that's where,
It's Philly, dear. Have I ever told you guys about what happened to Dad's car at one point? When I was a kid, we had an old red minivan, right? And
the red ones go faster.
we got it used off of a family friend, is the story. But so Dad had about, I think it was like $5,000 worth of tools in the back of it and stuff, and was in the city. And so chop shops, yeah, the paperwork, if nothing else. But no, so the, you have chop shops and stuff around. It's known thing. So if an order goes out for needing parts from a certain vehicle, then you get people trolling around the city, just sort of shopping along, and say, oh, that's what we need. So it was probably something to that effect. Dude stole my dad's vehicle, got about 2 blocks in it, before running it up over a curb and crashing it. Stole all the tools, though. My dad was salty about that. Now, the thing is, the vehicle was old enough and in such shape that pretty much anything more serious than average, like, routine maintenance was gonna total the thing. But it was a pain in the butt, especially with all the tools and stuff that got lost. Especially since at the time, my dad was doing a bunch of independent contracting work. Which is why he was in the city with the tools.
Yep. I do not miss being an independent contractor. It feels really good to be working for somebody else. Never thought I'd say that.
But yeah, so it's yeah, that's what happened to the red minivan.
I'm trying to think though. You said you're from Philly. Isn't that the place where that one presidential candidate, the guy who was in third that no one remembers, came from? And The Wire, I think, was based on him and his administration. That was in Philly. Or The Shield, or one of those The TV shows about, like, local stuff and crime and punishment and stuff like that.
But no, so see, now you're into pop culture, babe. That is not my forte.
No, what was the name of that, the third presidential candidate for, you had Hillary and Bernie and, oh, come on. At the primaries, it was, no one liked him. Double M's. Matthew McConaughey, Margot Martin, no.
In any case, so
Well, everything about the election was Russian, so why not have crime and punishment?
the question is, do I make it worse by rushing to conclusions?
If you're not Russian, then you're probably Stalin. Just like what we're doing right now. But it's okay, we're putting the map on the paper.
I think we just need to throw a Molotov at this whole conversation. So,
Let's Trotsky along. Are you gonna be lending a hand at this at all? What?
this is just like epic rap battles of history all over again. Which, by the way, even if you're not a fan of epic rap battles of history, in which case you're allowed to be wrong. That said, I'm actually very particular about which ones I like, but that's a different issue. Anywho, what was it, the season 1 finale? That was,
FD, or something versus Stalin? FDR?
No, because it was all Russian.
Oh, Rasputin and Stalin. Rasputin and Lenin.
That is absolutely amazing. Like, actually go check that one out.
Oh yeah, that one's amazing.
Just repeated rounds of, who the fuck is this? But no, so the adventures of two mathematicians in Philly.
So wait, you weren't in Russia?
So the adventures of two mathematicians in Philly. We continue our tale as we finally found parking, even if it cost an arm, not quite a leg, but at least an arm. And so we got to the Franklin Institute. We go to the exhibit and stuff. So we go to get tickets for the exhibit and try to use a deal. And it's like, you see that one little word there? Online? That's an online offer. It's like, So, get that sorted. You know, get it on the phone, show the lady at the desk, get the fancy wristband, get up to the entrance to the exhibit, scan the two entries off of the phone, just, hey, Brandon. So,
What a shitty.
so we finally get into the exhibit, right? I'm sure that y'all are going to be shocked by this. We did check out most of the exhibit. But most of the, 3 hours we were there was spent just us talking.
Because of the fact it was very similar to, stream. We have been live for 48 hours now.
Perish the thought. Me? Talking? And... Nah. It was a good time.
The most respite we have had in these 48 hours has been the instance of the crazed man wailing on us both while screaming, "Kenneth, what's the frequency?" I'll check it. Check it out. Come on.
Dinsdale with the assist on the link. Thank you so much.
That's, what's the frequency, Kenneth, right?
So...
Oh, that's the
So we're there,
Epic Rap
and
Battle.
by the way, I have to say, the Space Invaders game that they had there was so broken. It was glitching the fuck out. If I'd really been thinking, I would have taken, a video of exactly how bad it was glitching out. Because... This thing had more... glitches and stuff going on, and more, game breakage than the average, speedrunner. And this is noting that in things like Iconoclast, you get air swimming. Or, it used to be, with Hollow Knight stuff, inventory drops, and,
I was just
all the
thinking
floats,
floating.
and the power slides. Super slides. There we go. It... Whatever state it was in would have made La-Mulana look like a flawless piece of perfectly engineered and optimized software.
It made the Super Metroid TAS look like it was working as intended. Oh yeah, I was gonna mention this too. So you want to talk about low percent Metroidvanias? The TAS for Super Metroid, the tool-assisted speedrun, completes the game in, I believe, 2%. It might be even less. It might be a 0. I don't remember. I don't remember when they get the drop clip. I need to look that one up again. It's either 2% or 0%. Granted, it's also because it's due to memory corruption, but still, that's the amazing thing.
But no, so... I was actually talking with, I was hanging out in... I've been on a Hollow Knight kick, right? I was hanging out in this guy, Stay Plus's stream earlier. I remembered hearing the name from Mickley at one point, and... Okay, Deuterino. But, it was interesting because one of the things that sort of came up in chat was basically... So, when Hollow Knight released on the Switch, it also released with the Lifeblood update, where they fixed some of the key speedrun glitches, and basically... It's an interesting thing because it brings up a lot of discussion about... you get a lot of the casual folks in particular who sit there and they go, why would you speedrun it? You're not actually appreciating the game, when most speedrunners are like, are you kidding me? I played the game blind. I loved the game blind. I continued loving the game on repeat playthroughs, and now I just play with a timer. And, glitches. It's the kind of thing that,
There's a certain level of joy that comes with breaking a game that was designed with care. It's kind of like the level of satisfaction that comes with breaking a piñata. Like, you just swing your controller and all of them PBs come right out.
But no, it's just, you get a lot of folks who sit there and bash on speedrunning, though, when it's actually, in some ways, one of the greatest, testaments of loving a game, depending upon, the individual runner's philosophy. The other thing is, in its own way, it lends longevity to a game. So think of the era that we live in, right? If you kick around Twitch at all and browse directories, you see just the rotation of whatever flavor of the week happens. And if you happen to be in a networking community for anything, you get flavor of the week everywhere. Oh, everyone's playing, in a particular cluster's playing Elder Scrolls Online now. Oh, hey. As much as I hate to say it, Hollow Knight drops on Switch. You have a new wave of people playing it. You get...
Remember Sea of Thieves? Yeah, me neither.
But, you get all of these waves that come through. And it's flash in the pan, basically. The kind of thing where, sure, if you are someone who loves watching the same game done well, la-mulana has a different kind of longevity to it, I will note. And that's partly because the blind experience is... It is its own thing. It is such a completely different entity from...
Entity's not here.
Other playthroughs of the game. That...
Dave's not here.
The fact that I can sit here and spend, 100 hours on stream with a game, some of it's mapping, and still be loving the crap out of it, when, this is not something that's like, wow, that's pushing, expansions and updates and stuff all the time, or that has really grinding heavy content. This is just stuff that I've delved into.
This is almost the same content, the same experience that somebody would have had of this 7 years ago.
So noting that, games like this are the gift that keep on giving. So you get people that cruise directories looking for things like blind runs and stuff, and particularly good ones.
Now, too bad we can never find any of those.
But...
Now, blind pause screens, on the other hand, we can definitely supply some of those.
Well, I'm mapping. I swear. I swear, Ossifer. But no, so... Speedrunning, though, is something that does give a game longevity. People look back... Part of it is nostalgia and stuff. You get things like the Metroid runs, the Castlevania runs. You get... some of the old Disney games and stuff. You get all these, old runs. Crap. One of the things at GDQ that I ended up watching, I have no idea why, at SGDQ was... It was this, game that was made to promote 7-Up.
Oh, yeah. Cool spot. You also got Pepsi Man. There's Chester Cheetah.
But see, you get stuff like that. The stuff that hits people in the nostalgia feel and stuff. This is kind of a way to re-engage with your childhood. But you also get some of the more modern stuff, which, one of the things that was crazy to me is I started watching, at least on and off, this one guy, Mickley, doing Hollow Knight runs, starting last summer. Doing any percent, no storage, out of bounds, any percent. Yeah, I think that's the run. And it was fascinating, and I stopped into his stream, and I'm like, it was this chill sort of feel, and I'm like, hey. And he started talking about some of the glitches when I started asking. And it's the kind of thing that's beyond my ability at this time to execute. But to watch a game so masterfully done, that's part of why I got Hollow Knight in the first place. It caught my eye because of the style, cruising through Steam and stuff. But seeing the speed run is what convinced me to get it.
What is Noid 2? I gotta stop Kitty and ask Sear Sky.
But you get all these... It's something where you come across a speed run or something, and it's like, I've heard of this game, or sometimes it's, I've never heard of this, but this looks fascinating. So you look for more. It's completely unpaid promo. Iconoclasts, the devs did something did something fantastic with the development on that one. Iconoclasts, speedrunners were heavily involved in some of the beta testing and stuff, and some of the alpha testing even. And the glitches that they uncovered that were good for speedrunning, things like air swimming, which, yeah, you skip a pretty significant chunk of the game. But you get things like air swimming and stuff being in there. Those glitches were left. Just the input sequences to do them were made harder, so that casual players generally wouldn't run into them. But a speedrunner who is, looking explicitly to break the game still has access to them. It's you fix things enough so that a casual player does not, run face first into them and go, "Help! I'm stuck in a wall." Or, "Oh God, I'm drowning on land. Why?" You get to the point where, that's not happening. But the speedrunners get to, delve right into it. It's freaking... I love that approach to it. Team Cherry is an excellent team with respect to producing a fantastic casual game. But with respect to the idea of speedrunning, they seem to be pretty hostile to speedrunners. Even just implicitly.
One of the things that I give a lot of credit to the fighting game community for is Capcom especially. And I have a lot of bad things to say about Capcom, but one thing I will say that is just phenomenal about them is that Capcom does a really good job of pulling their community, pulling players, pulling professionals and staff and just people.
Oh, right. Actually, I could probably figure out which one that is. Because it has two different sets of text I wrote down. Yeah, that's A. Tablet A. It's Canadian.
Hey. Nuts. But, no, Capcom does a really good job, though, of pulling professionals in for consultation, for playtesting, for design help. People who really understand it more than you would have been able to have just done by making it. And, there's a couple of, speed games and everything where the developers will receive feedback, but for the most part, speed gaming is a constant struggle against the developers. And, one of the things that I really love, going completely different direction while Kitty's drawing. Kitty, you tell me to shut up at any point in time.
I need to be mapping.
Yeah. So
I swear we're gonna get to the room that's the true Groundhog Day.
Yeah, eventually we'll get there. In the meanwhile, the Groundhog Day part of this is we just keep talking and circling around to the same points over and over again, not getting to the real stories.
Like two mathematicians in Philly.
Exactly. So about two mathematicians in Philly. Okay, anyways though, one of the games that I really love because of the design philosophy that was taken on it. And don't get me wrong, I can't play the game anymore. I get really salty at it. I just have too much of a temper and no time. One of those things that requires a lot of study. But that game is Dota. Dota 2, whatever it is you want to play with it. Ice Frog has... He took Blizzard's engine with the original Dota and abused the hell out of it. And in a way, really, this is a praise on Blizzard for the way that they treat their games. Blizzard sees the things that people discover, the glitches, the ways of creating emergent gameplay. Things that weren't necessarily intended. It's just taking cool ideas and spitballing them until you've got a whole new set of tools than you had initially even intended. You can talk about that with StarCraft, you can talk about that with Warcraft, which then turns into Dota. The way that the experience system for the heroes works there, the way that denial works, the way that your mechanics and animations play into each other. And it's all started to become something where developers have embraced that emergent gameplay. They're willing to let things that weren't intended in the first place become part of the experience. Now, it's a little bit different for speed gaming, though, because you can have the stuff like Kitty was saying, where I'm drowning on land, I'm walking into walls, I'm finding that there's a broken piece of floor in the one boss room.
Okay, that was funny.
But the truth of it is, I guess really StarCraft is the game that I can speak the most on. It's an RTS game. You've got a whole bunch of units that have various AI and things that you can't control all of it. You can give it specific behaviors, but it's not like you're in a first-person mode where you're controlling every little piece of it. Instead, you give orders and you micro as best as you can. And you're still subject, though, to the pathfinding AI and just how your individual units are going to path, how they're going to move, how they're going to respond to your inputs, which you can give very quickly and very precisely, but you won't always get the same results. So with that in mind, a couple of the really interesting things from the original StarCraft from Brood War. Unit prioritization when it comes to attacking. Each unit is given a range of sight that they're willing to aggro within. And once you, you have how much you can see, and then how far your unit is willing to aggro, unless specifically told not to. How far is... Kitty has gotten to the real meat of hell.
So the reason why we're making a Groundhog Day joke, the room, the myth, the legend, is because the last room that I've gotten to is the 2-high one that has wall kick hell. Which, we're going to see exactly how much I've learned from Hollow Knight in terms of just how to process how I'm moving. It's not even that the skills are strictly transferable so much as how you process it. Dealing with things in motion. The trick is that Hollow Knight requires significantly less commitment to each movement. There's a lot more options for canceling. Here? Canceling? Canceling?
It's you get to commit or to commit. No, talking about StarCraft. One of the interesting things about that game was, like I said, the AI. So you've got your unit sight range, then you have your aggro range. And once there's a unit within that aggro range, there's a set of prioritizations. Specifically, your units will target combatant and things that can attack, or that are attacking them specifically, over things that cannot. So like special units that use abilities, or workers, or things like that. The default AI, unless you specifically override it, will always go for things that can attack you first. Even if you can't actually reach that, there's impassable terrain, or a little trick that people started to learn. So, part of the issue with it is, the original StarCraft had a single camera angle. You had the isometric angle, and you also had flying units, and Terrans had flying buildings. So, when something is flying, it obviously will go over top of, visually, the things on the ground in the same space.
Oh no.
Terrans had a unit called a medic, and their basic unit was the Marine. The medic could not attack, but it would heal things. And the Marine is a very generally weak in small numbers, but pretty good to mass, ranged unit with a relatively weak but quick attack.
So there's lots of little guys poking you with sticks.
Basically, yeah.
But very effectively with those sticks.
Yes. So one of the things that people discovered that you could do is, due to the way the AI works, if you have a group of Marines directly behind medics, the default behavior is to have any melee unit that's approaching this group attempt to attack the Marines first, unless they're specifically overridden. To override that behavior, you have to click on the specific unit that you want to attack. So Terrans would have this formation be in a choke point, so you can't go around it, with
one of their cheapest buildings floating on top of it, so you cannot click on the medic wall. So they're free to chip away at you while you're using melee units until you get range and are able to actually manually target something or have the AI take over because of that prioritization. And that's emergent behavior. Yes, you can say, oh, they're being cheesy. They're doing all of this stuff that I don't have any counter to. Yes, you do.
But it still boils down to a particular variety of optimization and working with the constraints of a system.
Yes.
It is... It's basically the guy that sits there and follows the letter of the rule. Not necessarily the intent.
So the trick about it, though, is you do have an option. This is emergent gameplay. This makes new sets of rules and strategies and ways that you have to play on this. It means you stop going in on a early game Terran with melee units if you expect they're going to be doing that. And if you do, well, you just walk your units away from there because you're not getting anything done. Instead, you use that as a containment field. You expand behind it, you attack somewhere else, you tech up, you do something else. Mm-hmm. All they have done is bought time.
You let them expend their resources on that and basically put your resources into something that is more efficient for the current game state.
But one of the things about it is, again, speed gaming is a little bit different because you don't get quite the same degree of back and forth between players. It's you and a system. So, a lot of designers think that emergent gameplay, think that systems that have unexpected consequences is bad. Unexpected consequences is the very definition of a bug. That's my job, it's to get rid of unexpected consequences. But for somebody who discovers these, for somebody who actually understands how to make them work, it's the most beautiful thing in a system. To discover that it's imperfect.
Now, it's also interesting because even if you have the approach that particular subsets of emergent gameplay can be very problematic, there's also different approaches to them on the dev level. There is something to be said for the early access model when it's done right. But the best example of that I know of, think Dead Cells. So one of the things that was interesting is I read a piece where it talked about how in the original build of Dead Cells that was released, first of all, it went bigger than they ever expected. But second of all, they ran into a problem where, because the optimization's in play, people were just going pure tactics. You know, pure bows, just bows. Bows, bows, bows.
No mids, no highs, no lows, must be bows. Oh wait, sorry, that's sound, not...
So, they ran into issues with that. The designers recognized that the game was not being played as intended. It's supposed to be more of a, you play with your different options. It's come a long way from what it started as. You know, part of it is because they've added new areas as time has gone on, but they've also been very... For all that people are... It's the internet. Anytime you make a change, you're going to get a wall of people supporting you, unless you're, EA. And a wall of people, against you. And sitting there and... You start thinking about how I was talking about with the baguette update. How, sure, I embraced a lot of it, but I was really unhappy with how they stripped flavor out of certain namings. The greatest sinner on that being changing Fogfjord to Stilt Village. So we've gotten me talking about that. That's all fine. But when you have people taking angrily to look at their update notes sometime. They tag which things are community recommendations or requests, and it's 2/3 the damn list. It's impressive.
You certainly made Kellerman mad. Kellerman's jealous that she managed to kill the first boss, or not the first boss, but the boss.
Well, I think the greatest thing was on my off-stream file in my first run on 1 cell difficulty. I beat the hand again. That's when I got the tornadoes.
Usually, hand beats you.
But, no, it's... This is the kind of thing, though, that they responded a lot. They saw that the game was not being played the way they intended. People were just... Made it the castle on your 15th run? They saw that it was not being played as intended. Yup, there it is, Kelvin. They saw that it wasn't being played the way that they intended. And partly because it's an early access game, you're in something where there's a clear expectation of updates, of changes, of rebalances, of all this stuff. So they took full advantage of this. Over the course of over a year, I think, that it's been in early access, because I think I first saw stuff about it, looking over someone's shoulder and seeing a little bit of gameplay of it, like, May last year? They've taken the time in early access, though, and done a lot of positive, iterative improvement, and gone through, and it's interesting seeing some of the commentary about some of the earlier builds and stuff, and what it's become. You know, the devs saw that people were not responding to the game the way they expected. They were going for strict optimization and not playing with it. So you get things like, shit, I talked about this in the bag update. They incentivized trying new things by having the legendary drops pull from every possible item in the game and not just ones that you've unlocked.
And why do I always get the double bow?
RNGesus has forsaken you, dear.
I think I need to reset my computer clock so I get real RNG.
But no, they've gone through all this, though, and improved so much and rebalanced, and you get... Every person I talk to who hasn't played for a while is like, holy shit, they changed a lot. I'm excited, let's try this out.
Here we go.
And it keeps bringing people back to it, continuing to build, and this is a game that if they had just built and released, probably would have flopped. Almost certainly, actually. It would have been the kind of thing that, you think of all the games that you run into, the indie games on Steam that's like, good for a playthrough or two, but once you know the optimization, just, you're good. The kind of game that you pick up, on a Steam sale for like 90% off when it's like $1 to $3. Where folks are like, it's a shame. They could have done so well with this game. They could have had X or Y going on. They could have had all this stuff. What it could have been.
They should have just made it like Kingdom of Loathing. What?
But you get these waves of comments that come up. So, you get Dead Cells doing this early access model that actually, this is early access done right. If you take a look at things like some of the complaints that people have levied about things like Ark Survival, about how basically the public servers are, good luck. Basically, you're gonna have, mega groups, hunting down your little camp, killing all your dinos, and have fun. And if you're doing private server stuff, you run into, other issues and just all this jazz. And, which is complicated partly because, hey, people! You're playing with other people!
Can I get a hooded cloak?
But...
Really deep hood.
But they've, you get stuff like that where, early access, but people are like, where's our fixes? They fixed some things, but it's like, the game is still essentially unplayable for a lot of folks. So, and that's just stuff that I came across, partly because I was just browsing through things with respect to Steam sale stuff, and when I hear certain varieties of comments, I go looking. That one was more, you go look at it to see the dumpster fire, or the, train wreck.
You want to see a dumpster fire? Region lock China! Hey guys, region lock China! Region lock China!
Food is a good thing to have.
Region lock China with your food!
Oh my god, the calls to region lock China are just...
Region lock China!
Hey guys, you need to region lock China. Hey, can we region lock China?
People are complicated. They are. They're simultaneously simpler and more complex than you think with respect to modeling.
Wizard's first rule, if anybody knows it. I'll leave you guys second to fill us in on that. And
I'm trying to remember what the... Right.
anybody out there in chat know Wizard's first rule?
People happen.
Pretty close. Pretty close. Nah. Wizard's first rule is that people are stupid.
You make it idiot-proof. Someone's gonna make a better idiot.
Bingo.
Idiocracy, anyone? No.
No, Wizard's first rule is always arrive exactly when you mean to. No. That came from a book series that I liked when I was younger, although it ended up kind of getting really, really weird. And by weird, I mean, like, S&M dungeon fetish. I stopped reading.
Kelvin's got the right of it. Don't wear pants. Okay, so it's actually like really hot in here, and no, you know, all jokes about either of us being here or our number one export being hot air aside, it's actually getting really hot in here. We're basically in a semi-enclosed space, and the air conditioner is 2 rooms away.
This is fine.
I have no idea how you're. Never mind. I know better than to ask questions.
What? What question are you intending to ask?
How the hell are you able to stand, like, sitting there in a hoodie? Or are you just secretly, like, sweating it all out? Is the reason that you won't remove the hoodie that you have... that you would be a good candidate for a wet t-shirt contest?
You can't sweat if you have not hydrated. Or so the Dark Lord tells me. Yes?
Bonk. Bonk, 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 bonk,
Boink, bonk, boink, bonk, boink, 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 bonk, boink, bonk, boink, 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 bonk.
Here's your damn water bottle. Just...
Say goodbye to your kneecaps, chucklehead. Bonk!
And Kelvin with the joke that everyone's thinking, but idiocracy, don't you mean America? Don't even get me started. You apparently have a decent scout impression.
Boink!
Yeah, you're also in danger of dying from heat stroke if you don't sweat. You are red. Hold up.
That was just the camera.
No, I'm also looking at you here. Refill your damn water bottle.
I already had my water bottle.
That's nice. Refill it.
Okay.
And no, I don't mean pee in it.
Boink!
Brita water bottles have a limit.
I'm running circles around you. I'm running circles around you.
Now that he started this, you realize that I'm gonna be hearing this impression for like the next week.
You really think so?
This is why we can't have nice things.
Hey, I think it's perfectly nice things.
Apparently you look more evil with short hair.
My brother's nickname is Evil. I wish I was joking. Question is, can you guess which one? The middle or the eldest?
I think all of y'all. I've seen y'all. I've met y'all. All of y'all.
You see, random person. Here's the thing about it. I am evil.
Actually, no. Before I really make that declaration, I think it's something that's best to left to all of you. Am I evil? I mean, my mother was a witch. She was burned alive. I don't know the rest of the song. It's Diamond Head. Who listens to them?
Apparently Metallica did.
I'm refilling the water bottle before I pass out.
Yeah, thank you, dear.
Why was I refilling the water bottle? I had Gatorade sitting next to me.
You had Chinese food tonight.
Your face had Chinese food.
You need sodium. Or rather, it has lots of sodium, you need water. There we go. I can brain.
You want your Chinese?
I can work. In a little while.
Okay.
I already had a significant chunk of dinner.
I know.
Gotta have a post-stream snack, dear. Gosh!
I have jokes.
Gosh! Whatever you're thinking, you need more water to make it happen. Now, segueing away from this point, 2 mathematicians in Philly. So we talked about how at the exhibit, we were both like, we weren't even freaking looking at things so much. We were mostly just talking, which I know, shocker. Given how many soliloquies that have been delivered today, no, pairs the thought.
No, we were just talking.
So we wrap up with that, and it's basically like, yeah, we're still talking and stuff. Franklin is closed for the evening and stuff. Yeah, it's a museum. It closes early. So then it's basically, Dinsdale's like, hey, I'll go see a movie. We're going to see Incredibles 2. Now, there were 2 showings that we could have gone to. One was, like, super close, or super short timetable. Like, we probably would have gotten there, like, 10 minutes into the movie. And the other, it's a museum. It closes, well, early, though. It's like 5:30 p.m.
What are you gonna do at 5:30,
I mean, yes, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Oh, right.
Hey, welcome to home.
This pair of rooms and the associated hell stuff is why we're making Groundhog Day jokes. So, words think stuff. Brain. So, we go to see The Incredibles, but then it's, yeah, we were there Wednesday. They have later nights, Thursday through Saturday, but it's not... Somebody had to go out of town on Thursday to go to a conference.
Hey, if you already bought it, there's nothing saying you can't return it, You take the game, you put your boxing gloves on.
Oh my god. In any case.
Wow.
So we're like, let's go, like, go see The Incredibles 2 and then grab dinner. We picked a showing that was, like, so we had to go pick up Dinsdale's car from the one train station. Okay. We're sitting there at the parking there and continue talking. We should have had, like, an hour. The kind of thing that, like, you have plenty of time to get there, get good seats lined up. Plenty of time. We continue to sit there talking until suddenly it's like, oh, shit, we need to go. So then it's, book it on over. And meanwhile, as we're driving, so I left the lot first, and then he ended up behind me, and then he ended up going around and pulling ahead. But the entire time, we were making funny faces at each other. Like, he was behind me, and I start making just, like, funny faces and stuff. And then he ends up alongside at another red light. And we have the windows open and stuff. We're just, like, touching base and stuff and riffing a little bit and making funny faces still. And then, while he's ahead of me, every time that we're stopped, I sit there and make funny faces while we're at a red light. Because, yep. See, Sky, I know that you've talked about how you've never, like, done Hell Temple as intended. And on the one hand, part of me is like, oh, come on. you gotta give it a go at least once. On the other hand, I see this room now, and I'm like, nope.
This is fine. It's not buzzsaws. You don't have to go back to the start when you're done. You have to go down to hell.
This room makes me understand the, like... There's some other spots in hell that do as well, but this pair of rooms gives me some sense as to why it must be so cathartic to just shred Hell Temple in the speed settings. The speedrunner has no real way around this room, but you have enough skill to be able to navigate it a hell of a lot better than me.
Oh, I get it a hell of a lot better. Wow.
That was not an intended pun.
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. That pun was not intended.
Yep. Woo! Great one, Kitty. We're all laughing. This was beautiful.
So this is one where I've been freehanding stuff thus far today. I need to actually be a little more attentive in this area, because part of the reason why we started off with mapping today is because I think that, honestly, between developing a better understanding of my wall kicks and wall jump capabilities, and so between that and between brain hoards think stuff, between that and between just learning the area in terms of the geometry of it, 10 out of 10. Fun. Wood pun again. I flew face first into that one harder than a bird flies into a window.
I was gonna say, if you flew into that joke harder than everyone sets me up for jokes at work.
Your life is a joke.
I walked right into that one. No, my job is a joke.
Yeah, your job is morale boosting for everyone around you.
There are many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. There's no reason to get excited.
Yeah, this one we're doing some rough guidelines, at least, just because I have to attempt a more accurate representation.
I am a more accurate representation
What of my id?
of your id.
We're not getting into psychology on this.
Eh.
I made a bad psych joke.
You know, random person? Birds fall from the window ledge above mine. Then they flap their wings at the last second. It's important to me to get up and see their last second curves towards flight. All these birds just falling like stone.
I just had a really weird realization. Dinsdale, you've got to be idding me. No, so, and now the question for everyone who's been lurking is whether this is a didgeridoo or Mongolian throat singing. So now I've gotten everyone started. So I just had a really strange realization. So you know how, like, one of the, like, things that they... At this point, it's something of a stereotype and sort of just a trope. Is, you know, someone trying to learn to be a master swordsman, right? The whole, you know, they blindfold them, take them out, give them, like, 10 seconds to look at a scene, turn them back around and tell them to, like, paint it. and some of the merger of things like art and observation of an area, noting the key features and things like that, with some of the tactical stuff, not even necessarily on the grand scale, but on the feet on the ground, stuff. Mapping.
Bleh? I think you're just not wanting to draw spikes.
Why do I sound like I'm reciting something?
I think he was talking about me. Because I was reciting something.
Whenever you're unsure, just assume that he is making some silly reference to something, a song reference, a meme sort of thing, or...
Hey, my reference was delicious. It was cake. Cake is tasty.
The cake is a lie.
It's like tasty cake.
The cake is a lie. And you don't know nothing about tasty cake.
How do I not know about tasty cake?
Nah. Not properly.
How do I not know about pasty cake? How do I not know about patty cake?
Because the goal is not to bake cake as fast as we can. In fact, I'm rather against the whole cake baking thing.
I'm thinking now of, you ever seen the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Mm-hmm.
Where they, literally have Jessica Rabbit playing patty cake with the, one guy. I have a huge appreciation for that movie. Like...
There's a crazy amount of work that went into it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you think these days, you just throw shit in CG. No. Like, hand-drawn stuff. Applied.
And, like, the live-action aspect of it, too, and the dynamic with the hand-drawn animation, it's impressive all around.
Yeah, no. This is a no-bun zone. Which is ironic, considering, so Stage noticed the other night. And he had me come over to look out the front door, at it. There was just a bunny, like, chilled, sprawled out, like, it was expecting someone to, like, either take a picture of it, or draw it for a pinup.
The pinup bunny.
And apparently there's two living basically in the bushes right outside.
I've seen a whole bunch around here. I think they're screwing like bunnies.
So... Oh no. You may not use weapons inside the war.
Depends on what we call a weapon. Music is the weapon.
The only thing that came to mind was the fact that one of the first, like, oblique references that I recognized to someone talking about two folks being gay was referring to them sword fighting.
I'm reminded of a zone in Kingdom of Loathing. There is an area in Kingdom of Loathing called the Hole in the Sky, a reference to the Black Sabbath song of the same name. Now, KOL has a very interesting mechanic where it allows you to ascend and do everything over again with minor augmentations and new twists on everything. But it just lets you re-experience the whole thing over again from zero. Mostly zero. On alternating ascensions, the Hole in the Sky's content is switched entirely. Specifically, you have constellation references to thinly veiled euphemisms for male parts in one of them, and thinly veiled euphemisms for female parts in the other.
Yeah, no, flatworms. Slugs, too. Basically, it's you get stabbed, then you're stuck being preggers.
Sounds like a Star Trek episode.
You will never stop referencing that, and it will never stop being amazing.
I know.
There's an episode of Star Trek Enterprise where one of the guys, the chief engineer, gets pregnant. And it's funny because the member of the other species that he's talking to is like, yeah, this is sort of an intimate game, but not, like, it's not something that should, like... She didn't think that their anatomies would be compatible.
It was.
And he winds up preggers.
Dinsdale, should I go and tell the world that you love the burrowing bishop?
I'm out. Ay, ay, ay. Also, I think that there was a weird face in one of the rooms, and I'm forgetting which one it is now. No, it might have been room 18. I think I remember writing down the number 18. No more than them ankles. Okay. I'm sure that y'all are getting very well acquainted with the music here. Actually, tell you what, I'm gonna do you guys a favor.
And go into hell? Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
We're gonna do this. You're not supposed to be hearing it particularly well. That's the point. It wouldn't be hell without it. But we're making it... We're ignoring it to the extent that we can. And stopped it in time to be able to get the rest of the... Oh, I forgot to put the number in the room above. Whoops. I forget which positions the numbers were in. I'll have to pick that up in a...
Spicy, lots of curry.
But yeah.
And I forget where I was going with, like, anything anymore. So, Kitty's really good at getting sidetracked and telling a story. I'm really good at, in the middle of a story, getting sidetracked and starting on something else.
Those two variants are more closely related than one would think. The trick is that I've gotten very good at, like, forensic tracking of my thought processes. Where it's like, okay, how did I get to here? What landmarks did I pass? What stories we're telling?
I usually just ask what went wrong.
Are you ready for a dissertation?
You haven't already gotten one?
Nope. He ain't seen nothing yet.
The thing about it, though, is Kitty will stop what she is doing to tell a story. I usually, especially when I'm streaming, I keep doing what I am and never get anywhere with what I'm talking about.
I mean, for me, there's two modes. You get gameplay and mapping, or you get me telling a story. It's not quite that bad all the time, but today it is that bad. Not gonna lie,
The important thing is, though, while Kitty is doing this, I get to have jerky.
Making me jelly.
I probably shouldn't. There's even more salt in this.
Drink more water.
I'm working on it.
Drink more water.
I just realized how...
Stay hydrated, bot says to drink some more damn water. By this point in the stream, you should have had approximately 10 ounces of water.
You have been streaming for 14 hours. By this point in the stream, you should have drank approximately 900 ounces of water.
Stay Hydrated Bot does hourly reminders for, and I think it's the default of 4 ounces per hour that it recommends. So yeah, we're at about, it would be recommending, if it were to go at the 2 hour and 30 minute mark, which we'll be at in approximately 10 minutes, it would say about 10 ounces.
I had way more than that.
I don't care. You also had Chinese food.
Something, your face.
Oh dear. Random. You think you just walked into a group of annoyingly powerful enemies in the game you're playing. Oh dear. That's not fun. The first question is, can you pogo it? I've been doing too much Hollow Knight. If it's too icky to approach from the side, attempt pogoing. Or if it tries to dash at you, attempt pogoing. Pogo to get over the obstacle. I'm really bad at the cross-unders.
I just remembered two of the games that kind of broke in my platforming acumen as a kid. Specifically because of how obnoxious some of the jumps were in that.
It occurs to me that I haven't really gotten to study this room previously. I went up the left side, but otherwise, every time I see it, I fall through it. Turn-based game, no pogoing? Woof.
Okay, so you're up against Velius then. No, one of my first platform games, aside from the obligatory Marios 1 through 3, and, you know, Zelda 2, which, whoever thought of making that a platformer beats the piss out of me.
Please no.
No, one of the first platformers I had as a kid was, a Disney game called Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. It was actually kind of nifty. I mean, very straightforward and uneventful for the most part. You need to do a little bit of erasing there.
Where?
Center column. It's not solid.
This one isn't.
Based on what I'm looking at on this screen, you have your center column.
This is the main column.
Mm-hmm. There's a hole in it where the horse is, the Pegasus.
Oh, that, yeah. I'll get there.
Okay, cool. But,
That's not... It's obnoxious, but it's not awful to fix. I thought you were talking about the floor there, and I'm like...
Oh, no.
Because you're talking about the central column, and I'm like, you mean the space that you fall through?
No.
Communication in action.
The,
Or maybe just in action, you know. Face.
is the place
The face is the place.
with the helpful hardware, folks.
You drew my attention to the horse, which drew my attention to the face.
But,
Good job.
No, it's a game called Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. And it had 5 different areas in it that were all different kinds of gameplay, really. Mostly platform-based, but they were, like, basically just mini-games. And, they were all representing different, rides and attractions in the Magic Kingdom. And, one of them was the Haunted Mansion, and it was a platformer stage that was obnoxiously difficult because of some of the flying carpet BS jumping stuff. And there was one area that I could never make it through more than like 1 in 10 times. You have to start at the beginning of the level again every single time you do it. I could do, you know, Mega Man disappearing platforms. I could do a lot of the thin jumps in, like, Mario and stuff like that. But these moving platforms were just obnoxiously awful. I guess if we're thinking about that, though, also had the original G.I. Joe game. There was one of the hardest boss. He wasn't the last one, but he was the hardest. Very, very fast-moving stage. You're in a chase sequence, and there's holes all over the floor, and usually very, very thin areas to jump off of. And if you land in a hole, you lose that character. So it's very brutal and unforgiving.
basically the hardest boss in that game. No fun. No fun at all. I'm just sitting here going off on
That's fine.
various nostalgia trips.
You're giving me a chance to breathe and actually produce the damn map.
But no, in terms of the, like, platforming stuff and things that were obnoxious, the original la-mulana had the controls mapped so that up was jump, also was, you know, attach and wall kick and everything like that. It had up very heavily overloaded and it was obnoxious. That was a pretty common thing for a lot of the games in the Nintendo and MSX days. And, the game that I'm thinking of is no exception. It was called Flying Warriors. It was a, kung fu style game kind of thing. Really, one of the last games on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And, combination of, like, platformer and trying to make a mini fighting game thing out of it, too. It was weird. Pretty cool. I liked it. And pretty early on, there's another moving platform that you need to make either a max distance pixel perfect jump, or use, like, there's a floaty jump kick kind of thing that takes you a really long distance but has a weird trajectory and range and stuff that you had to use. But it was basically a 4-framer that way, or a pixel perfect edge jump to make it across this thing. And it was just the biggest pain in the butt because you're jumping to a moving platform. Not fast moving by any means, but it's just awful.
Yay, cycles.
Yeah. But that was kind of some of the stuff that I broke my teeth on as a kid.
One moment. Random person. And I hadn't saved in a while. Great. Thanks, random encounters. Random person, random encounters. Hey.
Maybe if you weren't so random, person. I used to go to a forum when I was in high school, run by a family member of a friend of mine, called Randomness.
Sounds like you'd fit right in.
I was actually one of the lesser, like, insane, nerdy kind of people there. It ended up getting pretty weird. It was only a couple of people who were there, but we all... That's just all we all. I'm gonna go and, fill my bladder up. I'll let you do your drawing and talking stuff.
Dingus.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is a random purse, not a random person. That's not your purse. I don't know you.
Okay. So guys, other than the room that I accidentally missed, because I was so focused on progress that I forgot to map. So let's see, we're up to... Index is at 0, we're at 27 rooms here. We have, 4 hell rooms thus far? So... 27 rooms, plus 4, 31... If it follows the same pattern... Yeah, it goes this way. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32... 33, 34. Holy shit, guys. Hell Temple might fit on one page. Hell Temple might fit on one page. Except now what I'm really kicking myself for is not having it start like 2 or 3 lines higher. Just because then I'd have a little bit of breathing room. So, Stage, to fill you in.
Yeah?
Index is at 0, 27 rooms thus far, yeah?
Yeah?
We've had 4 hells.
Yeah?
Okay?
Yeah?
So, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So that would be 35 index rooms. That actually would make a lot of sense if it terminated there. Notably, so all my rooms are 4 high, yeah? I have 8 lines to go beneath the last room here.
I got a question though. Can you take me higher?
It's now time to get bodied. More.
Indeed.
Oh, right.
I have one from today that I didn't even bother telling you about. So, at work, we have a lot of people who have taken the rest of the week off after the 4th of July holiday, because we here in America like to celebrate our freedom. And no, let's rephrase that, our freedom. I was
Yeah.
up the America thing, but no,
Yeah, no.
that goes in a weird direction.
Oh yeah, I forgot to note one of the funny faces. There's a funny face, right about there.
But, so, also, random person, what game are you playing? I love turn-based stuff. And, so, anyways, though, what am I talking about? Oh, yeah. A lot of people took the next 2 days off, so they're out the rest of the week. And we've only got 2 QAs, like 2 or 3 QAs in the building right now. So the QA for our team decided that he wanted to just work in the room with us, because we had open desks, and it's better for communication and synergy anyways, and all of the standard business buzzwords. And, so he is, not used to being in the room with all of us developers, who are just generally insane and jokey and like to screw around and everything. But, anyways, he got up to go to the bathroom at one point and left his computer unlocked, as Kitty's playing with the wall jumping.
That's not a bad thing.
No, that's a good thing. Very good thing. He leaves his computer unlocked as he gets up to go to the bathroom. So, I'm sitting, like, right around the corner from where his laptop is sitting, completely unlocked. And one of the other, people that I work with says, hey, he left his computer unlocked. You should, you gonna do anything with that? Like, well, how can I say no to something like that? So far.
Yep, that's the problem. Can't do that slow. I'm just saying, though. I did not... I don't even care right now. I just succeeded in some measure at platforming nonsense.
Aragest Generations of War. Random person, do you mind sending that to me on Discord? Because, like I said, turn-based stuff kinda my jam. Especially if it's like, I feel like that one was one of them that was a little bit like Heroes of Might and Magic, which is also my jam. Anyways, where I was going with this, though, is this particular QA, he leaves his computer on as he goes to the bathroom. So I take advantage of that, and I go over and, go to his Slack, which is kind of like Discord. It's our internal messaging platform. And...
I forget if I slept here. Go for it.
Yep. I made it be so that whenever anyone in any public channel says the word Sonic, because he's a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, he will be alerted and pinged.
Oh, no.
And I had done this for somebody else before.
Oh, no.
What? It's not that bad. I'd done this for
Room
somebody...
15.
Take the shortcut.
you don't
Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Hey guys. Hey guys.
I was wondering why you hadn't done that before.
Hey guys. I am a stoop. I get up this way.
But no, one of the team leads, I had done this same trick to before.
Except for coffee.
Yes. So
Right, I can't jump up.
whenever
She used to Hollow Knight.
anybody mentioned the word coffee in any public channel, this guy would be notified, and it would be like someone didn't at his name.
Kellerman. I did.
You missed nothing, Wody. Absolutely
You missed
nothing.
some storytelling. Some interesting, rants and stories, and you know how I talk about the rule of if I don't write it down, it doesn't exist? I'd like you to count the number of doors. Now, but we're not talking about that. Just
Story time!
so, I'd like you to count the number of doors in room 0. I never wrote or drew the shortcut door, so it doesn't exist. I remembered everything else I needed to, basically.
Except the shortcut door.
The only good thing is that I had to map those rooms anyways. Although, oh no, I dumbed in a different way. So, we had a great point where I finally got through room 15, right? My enemy room 15, which I was just getting bad cycles, and Hollow Knight was screwing up my reflexes on things. Just all this jazz. And I got like 4 rooms further before folks were like, mapping? Mapping? And I'm like, oh my god, I was so fixated on trying to get to the damn room. But yeah, so not a huge amount progress-wise, but as Sear Sky's noting, yeah, there was a lot of story time in here.
Story time! But yeah, I cannot wait because this QA right now has no idea that he's going to be pinged every time someone says Sonic. And it's not going to happen very often. It's not like coffee. But
Coffee was a funny one.
then again, though, I had like 3
Right, I
other
forgot about
things.
I needed to... That said, worse than you, I did manage to, on the first, attempt for stuff today, get to, oh god.
She got into room 2 of Real Hell.
But I felt proud of myself, because, there was some actual, for realsies, grown-up platforming there.
I don't want to know how long I spent on that stupid room my first time through.
Yep. Saved by the platform. I just need this bird out of the way.
Not Satan, Sonic. No. Before, I'd, screwed with the one guy where, I'd started out where anytime someone said either Dear Leader or Banana Boss, it would, notify him. Banana Boss because the, one of the things about Angular, a language, a framework, etc., is they make reference to something about a banana box. I haven't seen it. I haven't gone through that training. Frankly, I don't really care, but that's besides the point. So yeah. Banana Boss. Big Hoss Banana Boss. So anytime anyone said Banana Boss or Dear Leader, it would notify him. And he had seen this once or twice, but didn't really make any note of it, just...
Didn't quite make the grab.
But then, coffee was the real straw. Or even the real stirrer, if you will. The real stirrer of the pot. I understand that one. Is that Petrie? Fitry? I can't... My eyes are bad.
Petrie,
Petrie.
I think.
I'm gonna start calling you Dish.
Is it Petrie like a dog does on a tree?
Petrie, pie try.
Or like a dish? Oh, God.
Petrie, pie try. Pitry, a pittance. It really doesn't make
Did
a
I
difference.
really make a joke about a dog? Oh, okay.
You know, I knew my day was gonna be great when on the way to work I saw a dog squatting and pooping on the devil strip. That's how I knew it was gonna be a great day.
I need to remember to go over to the left side because the left side is safer. Carry on.
Okay, I'm not gonna offer any kind of hints or obviousness. No, knew that was gonna be a great day though, and here we get it. You know, we get talking about dogs peeing.
More like the dog thing, yes. I'm so sorry I made that joke. I try not to make jokes like that about things like names.
Okay.
I have no excuse for myself.
So, no, for this guy though, coffee was the last straw. He'd sent a screenshot of a conversation with himself and a remote employee, saying, "Go get some coffee and yeah, get back to me." And it was the guy himself, Banana Boss, who had sent that message. And he just goes, why is coffee yellow? Because when you're notified, it changes the text yellow.
Hitboxes are perfect.
Yeah. No, this game is flawless. There's nothing wrong with la-mulana.
There's one downside to this route.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to go to the surface more often.
It sure as hell beats going back from the fist room. Get it? Sure as hell. Yeah, I'm funny.
Funny looking.
Wow. I used to be funnier looking.
Yeah, and you got that mop all hump.
Hey, welcome to hell.
Screw it. We're gonna. Even if I teleport out after this. Right. Chakra room.
Ninja, rat.
Oh, I redid my keybind, or button binds. Fun fact.
You know, Petrie, you got a good point, but the ending theme, the ending music is good enough to make up for it. Like, how would you have an ending theme if, if there wasn't an end?
That's a link against room 17? Only that I forgot that it existed. Or rather, that I forgot mapping existed. That's...
Kitty's just impressive. We all know
Look.
this already.
Look. I'm never gonna be able to repeat that 1 feet of platforming. That's just what I'm heading towards.
It helps when you make it onto the ball.
Oh... I could've.
What? Hit the one you skipped? Yes, you could have, but you didn't. It's okay.
Could've.
It can't be helped.
Should've. Would've.
It
Ditto.
can't be helped.
Might as well rename me to Kitty Derp.
I was thinking Kitty Pud. Kitty Zelpud.
Yeah.
Now, Kitty's got new controls. She's been playing a whole bunch of Hollow Knight, so we're not getting Dead Cells jumps. We're gonna have Hollow Knight fake dashes. It's okay, you can't use the nail upwards here. could try pogoing it instead.
I would that I could.
Really, though, everybody here missed all of our Russia jokes. Well, everyone who wasn't here when we did them. So, like... I think Petrie showed up, like, right at the end of them. And I know Wody missed them, but I don't think he missed them. What?
It was a really bad string of Russia jokes. It started off with election commentary.
Well, no, it started off with the city that you're from being the most, like, corrupt place where Martin O'Malley is from. That's the guy's name. I couldn't think of it before. Although the one thing I will say about him is he's very good at talking slowly and making you feel like he's talking down to you.
Slightly too high.
Shrek. I should check and see if my email has gotten anything from the realtor, because I want that house. We need to put down an offer, but that's just me being, like, antsy. I did this without fairy clothing. Me and my blind.
Okay, my blind is just kind of ridiculous.
That is true. You're kind of ridiculous. Excuse me. I think if Kitty requires more than 10 more hours on stream to make it through hell, we need to make her get the Skrillex haircut. What do you guys think?
I have no idea if this is even going to hold. I'm just seeing if we can reduce the number of...
Now, what do you guys think? We get Kitty the Skrillex haircut if she takes more than, I'd say, 20 more hours here?
Isn't this hell enough?
That's true. You got me here.
Hell is, in fact, other people. They just didn't specify whom.
Oh my, that was an awesome backswing. Yep.
Too close.
Too low. Nah, Kelvin, you gotta look up some pictures of Skrillex, man. That dude had some interesting hair in his time.
Hitboxes are weird.
Oh, yes. Hitboxes when they're on top of you are awful.
Turn down for cut?
Turn down for cut!
Yeah, we're just gonna... Everyone's second favorite sub-weapon, right?
Yeah, Kitty will be here for a while. It's okay. It can't be helped.
I mean, I'm trying. Very trying at that.
I'm trying. Don't wanna be pushed aside.
Nope. Went back to old mappings. At this point, I'm killing the bird on principle.
So that just reminds
Oh my god,
me...
that sounds... that's a Shadowrun thing.
I was gonna say, that reminds me of a certain Shadowrun character that we had at one point for a very brief spell. So, how familiar, Petrie, are you with Cyberpunk and Shadowrun in general? Well, strike that, reverse it. With Shadowrun and Cyberpunk in general. The phase! Boom!
The return shot! The return shot does it! It's coming home!
Okay. I respect that. You about to get learned, boy, girl, individual being, sentient life form. You about to get learned. So in the late 80s, you ran into a lot of the fiction and thought process of the time period was that Japan was taking a major rise in the economic and cultural scene. And, Japan was making a major rise in the economic and cultural scene, and, people were seeing the, like, unparalleled advances in technology, and just... I really want to offer you hints, but no.
No. I'm a
It's all-
blind kitty.
It's all mechanical stuff, it's just no.
I'm a blind kitty.
Blind cats catches a nut sometimes? Wait a second, that's not how the saying goes. So yeah, people were basically, though, afraid of, like, all the different progress that was being made. Were afraid of Japan taking over the cultural scene, economics, and out of it kind of came a new style of punk, similar to steampunk or, like, the alternative fictional cultures. You had Neuromancer, it's where stuff like The Matrix came from. And,
I'm most of the way dead.
yes you are. That's actually exactly right, worse than you. The trend in the fiction, in the, genre, persisted even after history proved it wrong. One of the things is that Cyberpunk was supposed to start off as kind of like a dystopian future thing, but they put it in such a near future for some of the, like, events in various settings that now you get alternate history turns into dystopian future. But Shadowrun. Shadowrun's basically just one
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Shadowrun?
Yes. One of many settings in the cyberpunk style genre. And, you can have, you know, all kinds of, like,
Too high.
implants and shit like that. I think Deus Ex is a good way of describing it. If you've, ever seen or played any of that stuff, you need to heal. And, there's also, like, magic, there's different races and stuff. It's science fiction meets Tolkien. And, it's ultimately a tabletop session, like, or tabletop scenario. That's where most of the fiction comes in. You have 4 health.
What of it?
Fair enough. So,
It's official, folks. Kitty's at the fuck it point.
I was running a table of Shadowrun and one of the characters said he wanted to have some mysterious implants, but didn't have any idea of what exactly it was that he wanted. He said, just go ahead and pick some stuff for me. And he's playing like a real, like, he describes it as a punker character, you know? Full-on mohawk, leather jacket, spikes, stuff like that. So just big on the underground music scene and... Oh, right, you had Rose and Camille.
Oh. No, come on. Helps if I hit the damn bird. But won't hitting the bird grant us mercy or something to that effect?
Wow. So anyways, though, I mean, he says, I want to have just mystery implants, and I'm just trying to think of, okay, what's the kind of stuff that wouldn't be, like, too I'm insta-dead, but could be funny and silly and all that kind of stuff?
A damn speaker.
Yes. A speaker implant with a wireless receiver to just a generic overridden radio station or, basically some kid's Spotify playlist that randomly turns on in his chest. It was just as crazy as it sounds. In a tabletop setting, anyways.
Come on, bat. Really? Because I think I'm dead if I hit a spike. Screw it.
There was another one as well that was a...
Nope.
I called it a sensory juxtaposer because he had...
Wait, that's a bat glitch?
Apparently so. They get stuck
Oh
in
my god.
stuck in a cycle. Now, that character had several mystery implants, and one of them I also determined was a sensory juxtaposer, where it eliminates his sense of taste, but vastly improves his sense of smell. Yep, AI loops. I did a little bit of finite state AI in college, and I know all about that. Like, that's no fun. No fun at all.
Nope. I saw the bird coming in. I hesitated a second. I knew. I didn't even bother fighting that one. I knew.
Now, I had a really nifty project I worked on in college for my senior project, and it involved a little bit of finite state AI. Really, my professor argued very heavily against me calling it AI, but be that as it may, it still was computer simulation controlled behavior that had to obey various rules, and it's AI. Just not in the traditional sense. So, what we were dealing with, though, is we wanted to have various behaviors on generated... pretty much. On generated prefab vehicles based on the location of a player vehicle with the ability for the environment to be multiplayer.
Nope. I needed to drop and then go to the side.
So, you wouldn't have just a single player in the environment. You can have up to, I think we had 12 or 16 working at that point in time. But we wanted the option of enabling certain behaviors when within a certain radius of the player. So I started working on making fields around the AI-controlled vehicles to determine if a player came within a certain radius of it. Basically just invisible collider spheres. It was some pretty nifty stuff. The problem is our code base was a freaking mess because it was a student project.
Yeah, it's mostly artificial stupidity anyway. Eh?
And the codebase was a freaking mess, and, like, I'm almost ashamed of having that on my resume. Except for the fact that there was some pretty cool stuff involved in it. And I had a good time, which I consider just as good as... Hey, Zip!
Got him.
I think you're being too generous with every second project there.
But another fun fact for those wondering, I remapped controls, but I'm also actually using my joystick for once. Yeah, I know, I wasn't paying attention there.
The funny part is people were giving me hell for using the joystick, saying you should play this game on D-pad. Except for the fact that Kitty has converted.
I blame Hollow Knight.
You blame Hollow Knight.
Here's what it's helpful for me on. Wall kicks versus wall push-offs. It's different. So, push-off versus kick. I have an easier time processing it on joystick, apparently. Especially because that way, you get the same sort of control in a fall as you would with a neutral jump.
Crazy. One of the issues that you'd be looking at with distance, though, is...
Yes, the difference is just pressing jump or not, but... I'm saying in terms of how I'm processing it. They process differently.
Bearing in mind the degree of fine control that you have and how shortly thereafter you get it. But no. Crazy. Talking about could just use distance as opposed to a collision circle. One of the issues around that, though, is you have anonymous players that are being created. The AI, we want to minimize the degree of awareness that they have. So, and like how much they have to hold, because you can have a lot of AI in memory at any given point in time. So, instead of having to make a possibly unscalable reference to each player vehicle at each point in time and track all of that in memory locally from the AI vehicle, which would really just be a pointer, except for the fact that you're dealing with a excuse me. Really just be a pointer, except the fact that you're dealing with Unity, and again, a terrible code base where I don't trust anybody there to not screw up pointers.
You can hit that while it's in the wall?
Yep.
I think I learned that last time.
Yeah. If it was a single player crazy, that would be super easy.
Raindrop weights. Too high. Needed to shuffle down. I think I know what I need to practice. Shuffles. Just wall shuffle.
Do the shuffle. I'm sorry, that's the hustle. Gotta get that side hustle going. And Magus, you wanna know what happened to my head? I left it right in this bag. See, it's still there.
Okay. So what I need to play around with is wall shuffles. Not... I need to play around with basically adjustments down. Yeah.
Hopes you don't get hit.
That horse can still go...
Oh, you have no idea. Horse is the worst thing since Mr. Ed. Also, I gotta say, I really like Petrie. The degree of Kappa reminds me of me. You know, I was wondering where those NES games came from.
Nope. I didn't drop enough. Didn't disengage from the wall enough before.
Yo!
Okay.
Exactly.
That Wizrobe is dead.
See, if you're gonna be around Twitch, Petrie, you need to understand the concept of Kappa.
I'm on 19 health. We're dead again. Hey guys. Hey guys. That's strict no dying policy. I'm doing really great with tonight.
You know Kappa and refuse to use it? I got you, Dendy Face. Hey guys.
See, you want to know part of why I'm not healing?
Why are you not healing?
Because some of the greatest feats of awesome that people manage to accomplish, me included, are done on critical health.
Like that.
I wasn't expecting that to actually be enough. Never mind. Never mind. The game just said, quit your bullshit and keep going. I made that one run perfectly and I'm never gonna get there again.
I can definitely give you pointers, but I'm not going
You
to.
can.
I'll give you references instead. See, did you catch what I did there, guys? My programmer friends? I made it funny.
Yes, dear. Whatever you say, dear.
Alright, Steve Rogers, got it. Nice!
Damn. That was almost skill there.
One of the other things that we'd be...
I would like to credit that Chakram success to the flying mantis dudes in Hollow Knight that throw the damn blades. And to the Traitor Lord.
Would you also like to thank the Academy?
No. They can go shove off.
And if I'm over geeking it too with the programming talk, please shut me up.
You're good.
Alright.
Well, not good. But I think everyone gets what I mean.
I'm copacetic.
Yee.
So one of the things about it though,
The Mantis Lords as well. There's a bunch of bosses that, and like things that do that. But I would like to credit all of them for that success.
Well, Magus, the level of penalization which would come from that really depends on the kind of...
Shut up, brain. Shut up, brain.
Yes, I know.
Shut up, brain.
I know where you're going. That makes me think of a story from middle school, though.
It's a minor problem.
Wow. It depends just on the scenario and style that you're, playing around with. There's... It really depends on the GM, the world, and everything associated with it. There's nothing rules as written.
Oh, the Muddy Raw.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so going back to programming talk, though.
Beep boop.
Exactly. This was exciting stuff. It's could have a long conversation. It's like you're talking about math. Like, just, hell, the algorithms and things that you can come up with are...
Oh my god, hold up, Dinsdale, please tell me you're still here. You'll appreciate this one, I think. Actually, maybe. You're more theory, less applied, but... So, I came across a beautiful username today while hanging out somewhere on Twitch.
Staged games.
Stochastic GD. I may or may not have been sitting there, like, going like, okay, your name is amazing.
I love when you catch people on Twitch like that, though. It just makes me so damn happy. So far, so good. So what?
Got too hasty. I was trying to get that in before the
cycle got painful.
before I had to deal with trying to dodge projectiles while
hanging on walls.
which I don't know about y'all. I'm not feeling that so much.
Really, this area is just that 70s show. Hanging out down the street. The same damn thing
Chakram?
we did last week.
That wasn't quite a Dead Cells jump, but it was... I might need to take a quick breather for water and probably a story break in a few minutes.
Alright.
Just because I don't want to run myself into the ground on this, but I want to keep going for a little while. I'm still making progress, even if it doesn't necessarily look like it all the time.
So, crazy though. Talking about what I was dealing with before, one of the reasons why we chose the approach that I did is, we were doing a simulation involving cars and, eye tracking to judge response times based on perceived threats. So, the players would be in a vehicle, and it has all kinds of extraneous things. The encapsulation levels were very, very weak because, one, you're dealing with Unity, 2, student project, and if we had done a strict distance implementation based on the collection of variables, or like a reference to each player vehicle that each AI vehicle would have.
I tried to get fancy. It's okay. So,
Close.
what we're gonna do is heal. And then, this is gonna be we're gonna take a quick breather and before we hit the absolutely fascinating part. Me practicing wall shuffles.
You want to take
Touche.
that one, or,
Touche. I'd argue that ballistics is more the speed of what we're looking at. You know, uniform horizontal velocity, variable vertical velocity component as acted upon by an accelerating force, e.g. gravity. Hello, ballistic arcs. Because, air resistance? Air resistance? What's that?
overrated.
In most cases. Unless the bullet winds up in free fall because you actually managed to succeed at shooting it straight up, at which point,
Well, you can also
why
have
were you shooting up in the first place?
ballistic arcs.
People who do that make me go ballistic. Okay. So. Setting the controller down a sec. I'm trying to think. So we had the adventures of mathematicians in Philly.
Aye.
Oh yeah, by the way, seeing The Incredibles 2. First of all, go see it. It's great. I usually don't go to see movies in theaters. I'm very glad I went to this one. It was also helped by the fact that it was one of those ones that had like cushy seats that are actually like reclining and all that. Oh, no problem. Take care, Kellerman. And that is right. So on Wednesdays, I swear it's Wednesday somewhere, we play la-mulana. But on Fridays, we play Dead Cells, and I think I said, what, about 2 p.m. EDT tomorrow?
That's the one.
So, in any case, have a good night, Kellerman, and I'll see you then. So, actually, if we've been going for 3 hours and 15 minutes, I think it's 10. We need to go to bed on the earlier side.
Yeah.
Scratch that. I will be practicing some wall shuffle on my own. I will save attempts proper for stream. So... Bedtime is overrated. Let me think. Hold up. You're 6 hours different? Western Europe?
Western Union. We're minus
Western
5,
or
so it'd be
Central?
Central Europe.
Okay.
Or, like...
The problem is whether you start considering Soviet territories to be part of Europe or not. If you are considering them part of Europe or former Soviet bloc stuff, then you wind up with it being more a little bit Western, but it's Central Europe. Yep.
I'm gonna go either Norse or Germany. You don't have to answer that, but I'm gonna guess it anyways.
So, just go nocturnal. I really shouldn't. That's just a recipe for bad. And I have a stream to borrow. So, we're Eastern U.S. over here, so it's about 10 p.m.
How you liking that World Cup now that you're sitting in watching from the sidelines?
You know the Archer slapping thing? I mean, to be fair, Germanic languages. You know, if you really get back to it, English has heavy roots in German. Oh my God, you'll appreciate this. So one of the kids that I went to high school with, or this was back in middle school actually. So in my school, we had a choice between deciding to take French, Spanish, or German. German had the reputation of being hard. It was only available on the honors level, and that's what the really smart kids took. I don't know. There was Spanish, which was considered in the district, you know, basically what everyone took. It was available at the regular and honors level. French is what I ended up taking. Regular and honors level, and je peux parler juste un petit peu de français, mais I can get a little further than that. I can understand a little further, but... So... The thing is, talking to this one kid, I'll call him Alex. Alex was like, you know the wannabe punk? The one that like wants to reject authority but isn't very good at it? And it's not even, they just, no. That winds up being inept at it. Do you want to know why he picked German? Only a little bit of language talk. He picked German because everything sounds angry in German, and so that he could swear at his parents without them knowing. Notably, fun fact, a lot of English, or common English swearing is not far removed from its Germanic roots.
And all that trick.
It was pretty great. But when he started talking about that, I just started laughing, because that's all that I could do. Because you want to take it so that you can swear more effectively, like, at your parents in the middle of shit.
Yep.
Like I said, inept wannabe punk. Like,
He's a fake punk because even though he's a middle-class white Canadian, can still be in the wrong.
not far off. Middle class, white, not Canadian, but from northern U.S.
Oh, sorry.
But, nah, it's... I mean, personally, rather than any bit of swearing that I could do, I take much more joy in, when speaking French, in, saying little things like, Tu parles français comme un vache espagnol. You speak French like a Spanish cow. Which is one of the more interesting insults that you can give to a non-native, French speaker.
I only speak 2 languages. English and bad English. Thank you, Fifth Elements.
I mean, in my district, the teachers were not supposed to teach the, like, swear words and stuff, and bad language, but usually they did it as a fun little bonus thing after, you're, like, around finals. Oh my god. So, someone asked, in my Discord, someone asked Chesh about this, because he's the one that showed it to me. There was a meme programming language that he introduced me to that centered around cats.
I've got a couple of the meme programming languages too. There's some funny stuff.
Well, I'm saying he in particular is the one that sent it to me. You know how you always have, like, a couple of those friends? You know, once you start, you know, getting out, about meeting folks, chatting with folks, it's not quite the people that you aggressively meme with. That's a different kettle of fish. But then... yeah, French number systems are interesting. It really is just a mouthful, if nothing else. But so... brain.
No, we don't let you say that kind of fucking shit around here. Otherwise, we're gonna just kick your ass out onto the curb. Bitch.
I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. That time of night where just circuits start frying, but it's okay. This is a good time to just breathe, riff. People can admire the running little kid and Hell Temple map and...
You were talking about you have that one kind of friend. I keep wanting to find the space to tell you to tell the story about your brother's foreign language.
I'll get to that one in a moment. Prompt me for that again in a sec.
Yep.
So, you know how there's those friends that you meme with? But then there's the ones that you just sort of... When you think of shit, like, you see something and it makes you laugh and you think of them. You just fire, like, one-offs. Or, you know, maybe you're that friend for people, maybe you have a bunch of those friends. Yeah, that's a lot of how I wind up reconnecting with people. It's just one of us shoots each other something, like, dumb and silly, and just next thing you know, there's a whole conversation coming out of it.
Your brother's foreign language.
So, my brother, by the time he went through school, they offered things like Mandarin. He took Mandarin at first. Was hopeless at it. Like, was drilling and trying to really internalize. If you'd immersed him, he would have had a shot. But as it is, just didn't process. Switched to Spanish. Still, hopeless at it. But goddamn if he can't fluently write, at least as fluently as you... This is someone who, by the time he was in, like, 10th grade, was doing hackathon stuff for fun. So he starts talking to the guidance department at school and says, look, foreign language really isn't working, and I have to have, like, 3 years of this in order to graduate. He made the argument to the head of guidance that programming languages, in his case, should count for the foreign language requirement. He successfully made that argument. Now, he also almost got himself in mad trouble with the district. So, as I said, by the time he was in, like, 10th grade, my brother's doing, like, hackathon sort of things. This is all well and good.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. Hold up, brain. So he's doing hackathons and stuff. He starts having fun with some of the district sites, and he finds a vulnerability. Like, actually reasonably serious one. Not, like, awful, but he explored it, found it, figured out enough about it, and was drafting an email to his comp sci teacher to forward along to the IT folks for the district. He gets called into the principal's office. Because they're basically doing you hear these stories on things like, tales from tech support or whatnot, stuff like that, or, just, they're a dime a dozen at this point of, some kid decides, to hack the school stuff, whether, maybe they want Netflix on their school-issued laptop or something, and they... Rip, 84 frames. They... So, you get tales like that. He gets called into the principal's office, and it's, for very serious stuff. And he's sitting here and trying to explain in layman's terms something that's pretty damn technical. And basically it boils down, and his comp sci teacher is there too and stuff. Or no, he wasn't there yet. So he's sitting there and just trying to explain to a bunch of folks who are like, you were trespassing. He's like, yeah, when I found the vulnerability, I was documenting it. Here's an email that I was drafting, that is timestamped as of, this morning is the last time I touched it. Because, oh gee, I'm at school. And this was, late morning, I think.
You fork bombed me.
So he's like, I have this drafted halfway. I was outlining everything in particular about this and dealing with the only way you could have gotten worse in terms of technological literacy is if you had the entirety of the guidance department there. The guidance department of my school had some particularly... There was one who, my mom remarked at one point she would never want writing a letter of recommendation ever, given that on a presentation that she was giving publicly, there was a minimum of 3 typos per slide. And not spell check won't save you from yourself style errors, but ones that in some cases were so bad that spell check couldn't tell.
Oh, good gods.
So, that's the only way that you could have gotten worse. Even the art teachers are significantly more technologically literate. So, finally, he's basically like, look, it's lunchtime. Can I go eat lunch? Something? And it's like, Arr. He's like, fine. Can you get someone in here from IT so that I can actually talk about what I found? And they finally end up doing that, but with the inflection, of course, of just, can you get me someone that I can actually talk to?
Can I have a translator, please?
They finally determined that no, he wasn't going to get in trouble for it, but they were keeping an extra eye on him. Meanwhile, this was actually a pretty significant thing. This is the kind of thing where the breach that he found would have allowed someone to access personal information of students.
Okay, so it wasn't little Bobby drop tables.
No, this was... Yeah, can you get the IT department in here so we can actually discuss the subject? Well, because it had to deal with one of the grade management systems. I don't know the particulars, but I know that he was on a short list of candidates for basically IT technician over the summer going into his freshman year of college. which he's kicking the crap out of. I swear, he's allergic to free time. He started listing off all the damn shit that he's doing. Going into his sophomore spring, he's looking at having possibly as many as 4 on-campus jobs.
Okay, that's just disgusting.
Because you get, like, some of the IT stuff, a different variety of IT stuff, a peer mentor for dealing with things like calc, and... oh yeah, basically dealing with events and tech stuff for, like, sound tech work. So he's getting all that. I mean, strictly speaking, I'm just saying, he's allergic to free time. Oh, and he's GMing for a group of folks, and there's a few other things in there.
There's usual criticisms that I could levy at that, but I know they're not applicable either, so it's just like...
I've talked about air caves being allergic to free time. No.
Your brother. Is your brother Air Caves?
No. My brother puts air caves to shame. My brother makes air caves look like a deadbeat, and me look like I am literally about as active as the moss that you find on the underside of a rock.
Underneath the deadbeat. One thing I was gonna joke about, kind of...
Or maybe like a sea cucumber. Look! I'm capable of one thing in life. I can spew my guts at you. I mean, I'm practically there with how much I wind up talking, right?
That's just hot air, though. I was just gonna joke about real quick, some of the different computer languages that I've seen where they use aliasing to try to make coding look a lot more plain textual. In actuality, it's just impossible. But they've made fully functional programs with aliasing that you have Trump script, where all of the entirety of what it is that you write comes out looking like a Donald Trump speech. There's the Surfer Bro C++ aliasing, where it's dude, come on, bro, and just like all kinds of stuff like that that takes the place of all of your syntactical sugar. There's a lot of beautiful, beautiful silliness that people have done.
Oh man! That's a slight cherry.
That's a slightly bad timing cherry.
We're getting towards wrapping up, but it's a pleasure seeing you. How have you been?
Bad timing. What? It's true.
Basically I'm in platforming hell. In Hell Temple, of all places, so... Just taking a breather on things. Nah. Try to think. What other silly things do we have? Trying to think of major things that have... There were a few stories that I earmarked and have... I forgot to write a list down this time to keep them in mind.
We got ourselves a new dryer and new faucet. That's...
Oh yeah, and new sheets.
Yeah.
Dude, okay.
She slept well for once. This never happens.
So, the surface of the mattress, right, is in pretty rough shape. Like, assuming we get the new place, we're not moving the mattress. We're getting a new one and having it delivered at the new place. But the top of it is pretty torn up. And you just didn't have a mattress pad at this point. Aww.
Slight cherry. That's awesome, and you are the bomb.
Nah, it's awesome. Makes me smile when other folks get to embrace some of the stuff that...
Enjoy. It's like you're spreading the love or something. You're giving recommendations. You tell people about what is awesome.
So,
except about you. You don't tell people about yourself. You let them come to you. But you are awesome.
So the surface of the mattress is pretty worn out. It's just, things get old, whatever. And so I got a new mattress pad, new sheets and stuff, and You know, you wash the sheets once before you put them on the bed for the first time. It's just de facto, just what you do. So we got the new dryer. I ran a test load of like some old towels just to make sure that it was working all well. Oh. And then put those on the bed last night. Holy cow. There is one thing that I'm lamenting. So so one of the things that is a guilty pleasure that a lot of women in particular will tend to list is is freshly shaved legs on, you know, shave them, take a shower, and then you crawl into a bed made with fresh sheets. You say that that's a guilty pleasure. There is one better. I say they don't know what they're missing out on. Freshly waxed legs. And I went on for like 15 minutes describing it to you last night.
I kind of don't remember that, unfortunately.
No, that's fine. It was me just gushing about this sensation. And that is the one thing I regret, is that I've not had the opportunity to wax, which meant that I could not experience the first, you know, brand new...
Yeah, not only fresh sheets, but fresh sheets. And no, there's nothing guilty about that. It's just one of those things where it's kind of like more of a... You don't get the chance to experience it very often.
Nah. Just silly things. Oh, and we have I actually had to leave a freaking tabletop session on Tuesday, partway through. We were doing an online tabletop session, and in the middle of that, the freaking kitchen sink, we'd had one issue crop up earlier in the day. Fine. It resurfaced. Kind of thing where you have to shut off all the water to it and try to figure out where the hell it's even leaking from so that you can figure shit out. Thankfully, it was within the faucet, from what we could tell. But it meant that we got to... I don't know... So, his parents are our landlords here, yeah?
Yep.
So, we haven't had a working dryer for a while, so they decided they're gonna replace it. Okay, fine. The motor in the old one died. So then, decided to get that delivered on the 4th of July. We also had to... Thankfully, there had been plans to replace the kitchen faucet. So, we had one, like, that we could grab the next day. But we also had to replace that on the 4th of July, which also meant really cleaning the kitchen to make sure that there was access and room, and we spent the 4th of July cleaning, and that somehow turned into a little cookout.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind of thing where you start talking about, we should probably figure out food at some point, got stuff going on, and, your mom volunteers. Well, hey, how do you feel about burgers and stuff?
Can't argue.
I can't argue, and there's still part of me that will eternally be a college student with respect to free food.
Oh, yeah.
But I was frustrated last night because I'm sitting here and I'm like, how did this happen? Like, 2 seconds ago, I thought we were going to be, like, doing our own thing for dinner, spooling up llama stuff. Nope.
Cookout. On a side note, though, I think we do need to wrap this up soon, if only because of the fact I need to pee again. And
well,
I don't want to be absent for the sign-off, because then where would you all be?
So, I know that I've been having a blast tonight. I need to figure out a way to not have the... So, I go out of town for like a week once a month. I need to find some way of not having that result in an effective, like, week and a half of no
Week
stream.
and a half to 2 weeks, yeah.
A week and a half, but it feels... Let me see.
Hey,
Aw.
Petrie, thank you for that follow.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you here. I don't know if you do Discord, but we've also got my Discord where There's a lot of things like cute cat gifs that kick around, random conversations.
And basically, you can actually have conversations with her, and I can interrupt.
Else would I know it's you? So, let me take a look. We've got a couple folks. I don't know that I'm feeling them.
Yeah. Maybe...
Yeah, that's...
Take a look at...
Glancing at one or two things.
Anybody, anywhere, anything?
Let me see.
All around the world looking for
There's
someone
stuff
to
in there.
host.
I'm just seeing what all we got here.
Whole lot of rosy... I mean, nothing.
I think that everyone's taking a week off.
Got a whole lot of love.
Oh, damn.
Got a whole lot of love.
Nah, I got you, Petrie. I'm in a lot of servers. Thing that is universal constant is even if I'm not the most active individual within the server, I read basically everything.
I'm going to go pee.
But nah.
Have a great night, everybody.
The other thing is that that's where, the other thing to note is that that's where the most up-to-date announcements are with respect to what goes on. So, like, you know, last night we ran into the, his parents happening and just all that jazz. Tell you what. He's still alive. Okay. I'm gonna do something crazy. So, I can't throw this host. Because he's not on Twitch. I can't throw this host. But, Kelvin put me onto an awesome Deuterino. He's the tap stream. And yeah, the first thing he's gonna ask you if you show up is probably gonna be, you know, what's the highlight of your day? He's got a Discord and stuff, which is more where I wind up hanging out. But this guy, he's on Mixer, so I can't host him. But I would very strongly recommend going and hanging out and checking him out. His name's Trey. He's an awesome guy. Just high energy, over the top. Like, freaking fantastic. Here's the link. So, if you're looking for somewhere to chill, hang out, you don't have to have a Mixer account. Yeah, you can't chime in necessarily, but I would even just go hang out, chill for a bit. So, as it is, I gotta say goodnight. It's been a blast seeing all y'all, having new folks come in. This has been great. Usually we do this on Wednesdays. A raid message. Hey, dear.
You need a raid call?
Yeah, something that we can send over to Mixer.
Yeah, so you're gonna raid call with all around the world, statues crumble for me. No.
I don't know. Damn it. This is something that I have to consider at some point. This is right up there with the day that a box of toast asked me what the collective term for my community members is.
You mean the litter box?
I don't even know anymore. I don't even know. In any case. I don't have a raid call, necessarily. But you can say that Kittybard says oh hi.
Yeah, there you go. It's a perfect
Perfect raid call. Kittybard says oh hi.
I have to duck out, so I can't follow you guys over, but because I gotta get some rest. We have 2 p.m. EDT tomorrow. We have Dead Cells. Also on Monday, Kitty surprise stream. I've got a sense for what we're gonna be streaming, but we're gonna announce it on Monday morning.
She will be wearing clothes.
I've been talking for a while about adding that as a regular chunk of my schedule, and I think the way that we're going to start incorporating that is treating it as Kitty's day off. Specifically, sometimes it might be la-mulana mapping, sometimes it might be, one-offs. It's basically what I'm feeling. Take care and have a good night, Petrie. Get some goddamn rest before the sun comes up.
Why can't I ever do that?
Anywho. I need to shut up now. Thank you guys so much. I had a blast. Once again, go say oh hi to the tap stream. He's on Mixer, which means yes, if you want to talk, you log in on Microsoft. But nah. Take care.
Good night, everybody. We're out.